Hello everybody and welcome to episode 7 of the Talk Away A1A podcast. Today Hexy is unavailable, he's not feeling too well, so we wish him a speedy recovery. However, today we have got last week's guest as a host, and that's going to be Trojan. I'll eat Trojan, son.
Hiya.
Hiya.
How you doing?
And of course we've got a very, very special guest today. So, marking the state of going international with this podcast, we have got an Australian. We've got Mr Mullet. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, g'day guys, how are we?
We're alright, man. We're alright, man.
Moist.
So,
Moist.
Moist. I can't believe people still say that, man.
The mullet has that effect on a lot of people, don't worry. You are not the first.
It's like me Willie's got a runny nose.
Disgusting. So in this podcast, we are going to be talking about the importance of community. Followed by that, we're going to be talking about Season 4 first impressions. Then we're going to be talking about streaming on consoles, which will be a first on this channel. And then what we expect going to be a very heated topic. Will Battlefield actually kill Warzone, or is it just a load of tripe? Then we're going to be talking about the vaping market. And then we'll be talking about news, announcements, and rumours, which will talk about a huge Warzone buff to snapshot grenades. And holy hell, I've been loving it. And then everyone's favourite, did Yee Kna. So without no further ado, let's crack right on. But first, we're going to talk about Mr Mullet. Tell us about yourself, good sir. Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm based out of Australia, as you can probably tell by the accent. I stream pretty much full time, so I stream about 7 days a week, usually 6 to 7 days a week, roughly about 40 hours a week. Mainly Warzone is my forte, so you'll see me on the dance floor. And yeah, just an average dad with a low average mullet and above average beard, just having some fun.
I love that little description of yourself. So, you got a bit of beard competition going on with you there, Trojan, eh?
I mean, it's not really competition. Mine looks like I've got pubes out the bath and stuck into my face, and he's got a face like a grizzly bear's arse. There's not much competition.
Fair play, fair play. So obviously you're a streamer on the Facebook platform at Mr Mullet Gaming, which by the way, links will be in the description of this video. So go check him out. Really cool guy.
Sure.
And yeah, how did you actually end up into streaming? Because you've actually, when looking through your channel, you've not actually been streaming that long compared to most people.
Yeah, no, so I've been streaming for about 4 months now. And yeah, pretty much, look, I've gamed since I was probably 5 or 6 years of age. Started, out on the early consoles. The Atari, I guess, was my first console. Then I went to, I think it was a Super Nintendo. And I had a Nintendo 64, then PlayStation 1, 2, and then, massive lover of PlayStation. I just like the way those controllers feel. So then I'd always, sort of had a bit of a personality for being on camera or speaking with people, so the nervousness of speaking with people or being on stream was never an issue for me. And then just come across Facebook gaming. Never had watched any streams, so I'd never heard of any other streamers or anything else, and come across a young Aussie guy out here by the name of Salzy, and I started watching him, and it was the middle of summer actually, and he was streaming out of his garage and 40-degree day and was sweating away, and I was like, yeah, that looks cool, I might do that. And that was it. I sort of went to the wife and I said, I'm going to be a streamer, I'm going to stream games. And she's like, oh, okay, well, start saving up. And I'm like, all right then, so I will. So I went and got all these prices, and it was about $1,000 for me to start up. And he goes, yeah, well, start putting some money away. So I did, and within about 7 days, I'd convinced her to put the stuff on the credit card. That was pretty quick. I was like, let's go. And
love a bit credit card action.
That was it, man. She very quickly, I guess, understood that it was something I was passionate about. And now we're here. We're 4 months in. We're,
All's deep.
the community's growing, and it's just crazy. It's unbelievable. Like, the journey so far, I didn't know if I'd ever even get to this point. So to even be at this point and now speaking, on a podcast internationally is just, it blows my mind. It just,
blows my mind that we're
So
reaching
I'm very
out
humbled
to
to
you.
be
So
here.
yeah, same. Like, and so obviously you mentioned that average dad. I'm sure you're not an average dad, but how old are your kids, and what do they think of their dad being a streamer now on top of obviously your full-time job at the moment?
Yeah, so I have a 9-year-old son. He will probably watch this back, so I will pronounce him by his sidekick name of Little Mullet. He goes by Little Mullet and does appear on stream with me from time to time. Yeah, they love it, man. They think it's... I think at the start they were comparing me, so they watched some game streamers. So I was getting compared to some of the bigger million-follower streamers, and my son was like, Dad, I don't know if you're ever going to be as big as him. I was like, yeah, give me time. Now they're starting to see that the community's growing. It's sort of, it's blown their mind. And my wife, well, we're 10 years married. She's backbone of everything.
That's nice.
She's supportive in everything. So, it's obviously, it's a massive part. Having family behind you on these journeys is humongous. It's a massive investment of time. You spend a lot of time in front of your monitor.
No, you do. So,
yeah.
Especially on this YouTube side as well. What you'll find is that obviously you do a lot of streaming, so you're like playing, and obviously then time you're not playing, you're just putting out your product. Whereas when it's like the video stuff, it's like half the time playing and then half the time editing. You can very, very quickly do 40 hours a week, even when you're doing 2 uploads a day. Two uploads.
Yeah.
I can't get the words out. 1 upload every 2 days. So yeah, it can be a bit rough like that. But no, it is a grind, especially when you're full time working. But it's good that you got that support network there, with your wife and all that stuff. With Nicole, my partner, we said, right, I'm doing this now. I'm just gonna crack on. She was like, whatever, crack on. So wasn't really much of a conversation there.
I'm pretty good too. Like, I've sort of got the wife involved now, so she does a lot of graphic designs through the page as well, and we've just started doing some graphic designs for some other streamers, and so now she's sort of, while I'm not streaming, she's out there working away on designs and overlays and alerts, and basically just trying to bring the best products we can to the streaming market. And I think at an effective price too, because I think it's very pricey out there.
No,
very
it absolutely is. I've been quite fortunate. I got Wild Wolf to do like the normal A1A one, which I've been able to like do a background of. But I'm probably, obviously, that was like when the channel had like 50 subscribers. So now that we're approaching like 400 and growing quickly, I'll probably have to do a new one at some point. So I'll be in the market for that. I'll be in touch. But
come on over, son.
Come on over.
You gotta have a mullet first.
Gotta have a mullet.
Mullet discount.
Mullet discount. See, I can't do a mullet. I've tried it and I look like an absolute tramp. So yeah, I don't think.
No change then.
But obviously you've mentioned a community a fair bit there. Big part of any streamer, any YouTube channel, anyone that wants to take anything semi-seriously. So yeah, tell us a bit about your community and obviously the importance of community. Let's kind of get into that, because gaming is a very stagnated market when it comes to like the content. There's thousands of people streaming out there, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and everyone thinks that they can be it. However, it's not. It's more about the grinding out else, which a lot of people just don't have. So it's really important that when you are going through those low times, that you do have that community there to back you up and remind you why you're doing everything. So yeah, like, community, what's it to you, and what's yours looking like?
Look, my community is everything. The backing I've got from, I guess, streamers that are already, I guess, found their footing. I just found, being active in the community. So, not necessarily being in other people's streams talking about myself, but being in other people's streams supporting them, and them being able to reach out to them privately and be like, I'm sort of streaming away myself. Do you want to get some games? And most people, if they're feeling the support from you, they're happy to give that same support back. And I just I found that the biggest thing is just and not being scared to. I find so many streamers are scared to talk about other people. Like they don't want to. I guess if someone comes into their stream and they know they're a streamer, they'll just be like, hey John, or hey Scott, or I sort of have a rule of thumb of if you come into my stream and I know you're a streamer, irrelevant to what profile you're chatting under, I will address you as your streaming name, and I just think that's you're a streamer, and I think you deserve that.
A bit like business
respect.
etiquette.
Business etiquette.
100%. I think, again, I wouldn't go to a first stream of someone's that I've never been to and go and comment on there as my channel and be like, oh, hey, have a good stream. Because in my view, I think that's
Bit naughty.
disrespectful. It's just like me walking into your house and walking to your fridge, not knowing you. Don't step into someone else's private zone and try and plant your channel in there. But in saying that, like I said, if you were to come in, I would address you guys as your channel. I wouldn't address you as your name. I would address you as your channel, and I just think that's I just think you get that in return, and by getting that in return, your name gets out there, and I've just found that it's not, you're never going to lose followers. I've just had a guy in my crew that I sort of play with that has started streaming himself. A lot of my viewers have gone over, given him a follow, drop into his streams, all that. I haven't dropped any numbers. If anything, my numbers are probably at a higher level because my people are over there supporting him, but the supporters he's picking up, or followers he's picking up, he's mentioning, oh, make sure you check out Mr Mullet. So they're coming to my stream. So I'm growing at the same time. So it's almost like you're investing.
Yeah, invest.
Promoting someone else. And as I said, if you're willing to help others, then most of the time others are willing to help you. So yeah, I love the Aussie scene. It is pretty small. It's not nowhere near probably as big. Very, very tight knit. It's a lot of people know each other. Everyone's very close around, to each other, and we've got lots of discords, and if anyone needs a hand, even though I'm one of the odd ones out, being on PlayStation, most of the guys are on PC. But if there is a problem, there's always someone to reach out, and someone's always willing to give you a hand, and that's where the community starts with other streamers. Before you get the general viewer, 90% of the time, your first 4 or 5 viewers will be other streamers, will be people that stream themselves. So you need to make sure you're putting a good foot forward with them, and the way you do that is show them respect for who they are. Acknowledge that they have been in the industry or been in the scene longer than you. Don't come in thinking you're it from the start. Confidence is good, but don't overstep it. There's people that have put in work before you in your scene, so respect that, and they will usually respect you back for it.
Don't pretend that you're Christopher Columbus. I'm an explorer. I'm reaching uncharted territory, and it's like, nah, cunt. There's people who've been here much longer. Calm down.
I love it. When are you coming to Sydney? You need to be over here. I love it. But yeah,
got a spare room? Give us a shout.
As an Australian, we're very blunt people to start with. We tell it how it is. We say how we feel, and if you step on someone's toes, they will tell you directly. They won't beat around the bush and type it in some little forum. They'll come directly to you and be like, "Why were you in my chat, in your channel?" And I like that. I think that's how it should be, But as I said, I've never had any issues with it. I probably have, out of my followers, I probably have 20%, which are other streamers.
That's a strong number, actually, compared to the
if I see them
here.
spending time in mine, I do the same favour. And I'll go and spend. I won't follow for follow. I won't get involved in any of that. I think it's absolute rubbish.
I think in the early days of the channel, there was a lot of that. There was so much of that in my early days. Like, up until about 100 subscribers, everyone would be like, follow sub for sub. It's like, no, you sell Avon. I'm not interested in that. Your dad might be, but I'm not. Like, absolutely
I'm the same. Look, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm not going to come and watch you play Super Mario Kart. Like, I'm sure you enjoy it. Great. There's an audience out there. I want to kill people. That's what I enjoy, the warfare of killing.
Before you've paid God.
Is that sorry?
Was that after or before you play COD? I want to kill people.
It was just how innocent it was said. I want to kill people.
No, but I just enjoy that, that whole sort of, battle royale, open world. You control how you play the game, and minus a few aimbotters and everything else. But 30% of the time, you have a say in how the game's played out, and I just like that. So I'm not going to go follow you because you follow me. I never come watch your channel. You might come and watch mine. It's the time to me. You want people engaged in your content. You might not even like me. Look, I want you to come and watch. And I usually say to people, I will never sit there and say, oh, hit that follow button. And if you like me, hit the follow button. If you don't, then bother. Like, you're wasting my time and yours.
Thanks for the follow stats. Thanks for the viewership. Kind of that kind
Love
of.
you, bye.
Love you, bye.
There's no point having. I see this out there. I obviously, if you're in the industry or you're in the scene, you must do your research. So I will go and watch other streams. I'll go and see how other people do it. I'll have a look at pages and their followers and their views on videos. There's people out there with 2K followers and 5 views on a video. Now,
that does say a lot, though, doesn't it? That says so much.
So what I'm saying is, you're telling me you've only got 2% of people with, 0.001% of people with live notifications on? No. You have no one with live notifications on because you've gone onto these follow groups and gone, you follow me and I'll follow you, and you see them. But it's just, again, fake numbers. It's, and I don't know what it's for. I know over on Facebook you get 10,000 followers, you get some in-ad payment or something, but what I don't think they realise is unless you get to turn ads on your channel at 10k followers, you only get paid for people that are there viewing your stream to see it. So no point having the followers if they're not actually tuning in to watch the ad to get you. To me it's just a broken system. How you fix it?
Yeah, no,
but I would.
It is down. Yeah. It is down to the community, though, and people like that aren't really part of the community, are they? They're freeloaders, essentially.
We'll just encourage anyone that does view this is, if you are starting streaming, do not get involved in follow for follow. It is. I know how tempting it is. I know how great it feels to think that people are following your page, but ultimately, it's not gonna help your channel at all.
It's fake.
It's actually gonna make it a lot harder. Yeah.
So
putting that is literally like putting on a condom where the end of it's filled with cement. You feel like your dick's bigger, but that extra few inches that isn't actually there because it's follow for. Yeah. I mean, follow for follow. They'll follow you back, but they're not gonna be viewing your channel. They're not gonna be jumping on your streams. So essentially, if anything, your stats are gonna look worse. Because I
was sort of going to say that it's like putting apple juice in a schooner glass and pretending you're drinking beer. It's, it might look like it. It might look like it from the outside that you're having a beer, but
hey, don't give away my secrets,
or
man.
a cup of piss.
But it ain't the real thing. So just don't do it. It's just you will grow.
Speaking of cups of piss, shall we get on to the next section of the podcast today? Which is the first impressions of Season 4. Mr. Mullet, have you played any Season 4 yet?
Have I played some Season 4? Yeah, we're about 12 hours in so far, maybe 14. I love it. I think it's great. Console released out a new colour change, or I think it's called... I did have it here. So basically now we can adjust the downloadable field grain or something on the screen. It basically makes the world.
You're only just getting that now.
Yeah.
What?
So it's just come across to console.
I love how they fix that before field of view.
Now,
priorities.
I have some breaking news. I have some breaking news for your podcast.
Go on then.
Breaking news, guys.
Go on
Regiment invites are now fixed. After 3.5 months, you can invite your friends into a regiment.
Damn. Big. Unbelievable. How will people cope with that news is the question, honestly.
Just going to hear
I'll
about
tell you
it.
what. I'll tell you what. If you go onto Activision's Twitter and you have a look, the most common thing that's asked them, there's two things. When's anti-cheat coming?
And
When are you fixing the regiment invites?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's like top of the list. Like they're in
Why
a
can't
boardroom. They're in a boardroom, right? John. What's the biggest things going on in Warzone now? Well, I know we've got hackers. Field of view on consoles is a thing, but it's nowhere near as important as the regiment lounge. We need that. That comes before meta changes. That comes before balance patches. We need regiments sorted out. What?
I don't know why. I don't know why it was put at the top of their list.
I'll tell you why.
It was.
I'll tell you why. It's so good because they've had all they've done is they've looked at FAQs. They looked at anti-cheat and went, nah, fuck that. It's like, what's next? Regiments, and then they fixed that, called it a day, and then went and got fucking balls deep into a fucking Victoria sponge. Absolute cake shaggers.
So I was in a party chat with about 20 Australians, some streamers, some not, about 20 minutes out from the release of Season 4, and we were all sort of having a little chat about what we thought they'd change.
Mm-hmm.
There was one person come out and went, maybe they're going to introduce anti-cheat and a new map. I was like, listen,
I wish I could be as nice.
they release...
If
they release anti-cheat and a new map, I'll leave. I'll just go. I'll just walk away. The chances of that are zero. It was never going to happen. There was never going to be a new map. Instead, we get satellites falling out of the bloody sky, and now it sounds like we're on the
It hurts.
battlefield of end of war with bombs going off.
Hurts my ears. Now I don't know if you caught my video on Friday. Technically.
Did.
So I genuinely believe that when more people pick up restock, snapshot grenades will replace Ghost. It is so fun. Oh my god. I put in about 6 hours on COD yesterday, and so many clips is of us basically throwing snapshot grenades with FMJ Bruins and just pinging people through walls and roofs like, you're getting reported, Yee Kna. It's like, love it, mate. Remember when the AS Val came out and that had the broken bullet penetration where I got to shoot through 10 different surfaces at once? I was rocking the snapshot grenades for that as well. I love broken stuff like that. But what I've noticed though, which my subscribers will soon see, is that since I've went back to restock and snapshot grenades, my average kills per game has flung straight up. I was usually sitting on about 4 or 5, and now I'm sitting on literally about 9 or 10. It's just so good. I don't know, I just feel as if I play with more confidence. And obviously people are drawn to you as well because you're not on the map, which if they come, for example, in a trios or quads, expecting just one person, which more often than not they are, because the rest of them are running Ghost on the team, they're up shit creek because they'll open fire on me, and then boom, you've got Rue or Connor or Danielle absolutely blitzing them from a different angle. It's absolutely unreal. It's fantastic. But FMJ Bruin.
Yeah.
We've
got one of the guys that plays in our squad that has been with restock for ages now, and yeah, he's just on cloud 9 at the moment. He's just mind blown how much sort of more advantage I guess there is. I'm one of those people that sort of feel naked. If I don't have a heartbeat, I'm like, where is it? Why can I not? I don't know. It's just I want to change it up because I do believe I found the new meta. I do believe that
big claim
hidden away. Oh, massive claim. I think I've got the meta. I think it absolutely slaps. I think it's unspoken. No one has spoken about it. All the big sort of meta guys I've watched all their videos. None of them have mentioned it.
I think I'm onto one, but I want to see if yours is similar to mine.
Alright. We go, well,
SMG's one. Sizes our boys.
Oh, aye.
It's not going to be groundbreaking. The meta for the SMG.
How are you, cock tease? Get on with it.
The Fennec is
Fennec. You know what it is? Actually, I have seen a lot of Fennecs at the start of season 4. Like every Tom, Dick, and Harry I kill seems to have one, and this really bugs me
the
because
advantage with it is speed.
Yeah,
your
it's
movement
super
speed
fast.
into buildings is like you need to play aggressive with it. You can't don't try and sit back and
No, that's not how the
shoot
Fennec
someone
works.
with it.
It's not how the Fennec works
You
at
need
all.
to be running at them, and I almost find it advantage to put auto run on, auto move forward. Sorry, so that basically it pushes you to rush. It almost makes you play a faster game. So that's a good little tip for people out there. If you find yourself sitting back, auto move forward on. It will start moving you without you moving yourself forward. You have to start playing more aggressive instead of this sit back, wait sort of gameplay.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right because like there's been a few moments because I've been actually killing people with a Scar. The Scar got a little buff, which has actually made it one of the most powerful assault rifles in the game. But people don't like it. It's only got 30 bullets. It's slow. It's like, that's fucking brilliant because if you compare that with a fast SMG...
but people have been smashing with the ASVAL for a long time too, and it's got its ammo capacity as well. But
yeah, well, exactly. The Fennec.
If you're whinging about ammo, whinging because your accuracy is crap.
Because like I've been looking for an SMG
honest.
to pair with it, and I keep on finding Fennecs. I'm like, fuck it, I'll pick this up for my AK. Fuck it, I'll pick this up for the Bullfrog. And even as little as I think last week or the week before, I was actually using the Fennec on my classes before this update. So like I've got an affinity with the Fennec. I really enjoy it. I like the iron sight as well. I feel as if the iron sight's really clean.
Nice. Yeah.
So I enjoy it personally, but
there's so many viables. In Season 4, this is the most level playing field I've ever seen. I don't think Call of Duty has ever had.
Gonna call bullshit on that. Gonna call bullshit on that right now. The MG82 is just ridiculous. That thing is broken. That needs a nerf.
But, yeah, wait. But, so last season we had the AMAX broken, killing everyone. Before that, we had
FFAR.
Catch me here. FFAR. Before that, you had the DMR. You know, so you've always had one weapon that stands out from the lot. It's all good. People will run the 82 for a few weeks. It'll tone itself down. It'll get a little.
I've already got counters for that. It's fine. It's all good. Stay tuned for that counter.
I mean, in levelness of. When you look at the SMG classes, you can run the Bullfrog. It's still solid as all hell. You can still run the MAC-10. The MAC-10 is, MAC-10's like a nice glass of a bottle of red wine. It just ages gracefully, and it will continue to perform because its mobility is lovely. Cold War, P5, again, that thing beams. So it still hits solid, but... you break them all finely down, you do need to have, like I always say to people, don't worry too much about metas, worry about what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, that's why I've been rocking the FAL through all these metas lately. I'm just comfortable on it, and if people are going to rock up with like their stupidly quick time to kill FFARs, I'm just going to pang it 2 or 3 times in the head with me FAL, and you're going to go to the gulag. So yeah, you got to use what you're comfortable with. Metas is one thing, but like Awkward Onion last week when the DMR was a meta, like he wasn't using the DMR, he couldn't use the DMR, but he made sure he played around it, and that's kind of how I feel around every meta, you know. I do feel kind of shank because I was directly involved in creating that meta. Oops.
Listen, you could have a meta gun come against a player that's more highly skilled than you are, still going to beat you. Meta gun's not going to win the gunfight for you. It'll make you more competitive, but it's not going to win the gunfight for you.
Yeah, there is still an element of skill.
I think you've got to play with what you like. Like I say to everyone, if you're just starting out the game, level up the kilo. Thing doesn't move. It shoots in a straight line. It's almost as close to being a cheater without cheating. Like, it just doesn't move. It has
You
no
see, the
recoil.
Bruin doesn't move, but people aren't willing to give it a try. Minus a little technical difficulty where it stopped recording there. We'll quickly brush over this section because we have got a PC talk segment later on anyway. But briefly, you stream on console. So, yeah, how do you find that, man? And why are you streaming on console?
Yeah, look, I find it relatively easy. I find the quality still to be as good as what everyone else is putting out on PC. Obviously, from a gameplay point of view, you know, there are some disadvantages. Field of view is one of them. But yeah, just basic choice of it to stay on console was cost effective. I thought that I'd just see what I liked in the gaming scene and how I sort of fitted in. I wanted to make sure that there was a spot for a bloke with a mullet in the gaming scene, and by the looks of it, I sort of knew about 4 to 6 weeks in that there was certainly a spot for this little mullet to plane himself down and have some fun for some years to come. So, yeah, as I said, I just run a pretty basic setup. I have a laptop, a pretty powerful laptop that runs the whole show, and yeah, just all through Elgato, and it has its complications. So I'm looking forward to getting rid of it in the next few months. But it's probably the easiest for someone coming into streaming if you're on console.
So you're looking to get out of it. So obviously, what kind of computer are you looking at? Are you looking at a high end one? Are you looking at just for the entry level market? Because Andrew here, Trojan doesn't do entry level, do you, mate?
Yeah, nah, therell be no entry level voice.
Yeah, I was going to say, talking to you with a £300 headset with a glowy £200 keyboard. No, I don't.
Nah, there'll be no entry. But I've had some chats, I guess, with my PC guys out here already regarding what we'll sort of do. But we're looking at dual tower setup, probably 3 monitors, and yeah, we'll I guess the same as what I come into on console. So I come in on a TV, but then very quickly went to a nice MSI 27-inch curved monitor with 1 millisecond response time, and all of those little gizmos. So yeah, we'll go top level. We're looking probably in that $5,500 mark. I guess somewhere around that.
Yeah, that's just important to know. That's Australian dollars. So I'm just gonna have a quick little look at what we're looking at for that. So yeah, that's actually about the same as me and Hexy's PC. So yeah, that's quite the PC. How are you going to explain that one to Mrs Mullet?
Yeah, so she we've already had that discussion. It was a very, very interesting discussion when she had a little look on the internet and went, "How much are you looking at for this computer?" I went, about $5,000, and she went, "Oh, but I've seen some for around $1,300. I'm like, "Yeah, they won't be cutting the bargain." And I guess, look, if I was just a gamer, it'd be nowhere near that. The whole reason of dual towers, obviously, you guys would get is that I'll obviously stream off one and play off the other. One will
so is
solely
this budget
be
on your
only
two
used.
computers, or is this budget on your main one?
No, both.
Okay.
So majority of it, in saying that, majority of it will go into a main gaming PC. The streaming PC probably be the basic of the two. Won't be as crazily beefed up. In saying that, I don't use my laptop for anything else but to run the stream. I don't.
Yeah.
It's 2021. Phones do everything these days, so there's no real need for me to use the computer for much. So again, that 5.5 is a medium sort of level. I'm a realist. It could be $1,000 up, or could be $500 more. Or
she'll not know until the bill comes in for the credit card if you just slip in an extra grand. You know what I mean?
Just slip it in.
It's all right now. Now she's doing the graphic design. She can chip in.
Make her feel involved.
That's it. Make her feel involved, voice mate. Nah, as I said, she's in all honesty, like her whole view is, I don't care what you spend.
That's dangerous.
As long as you're happy. As long as you're committed to what you're doing. Like, if I was to go and buy this PC, stream for a month, and then say, "Oh, I'm not streaming anymore,"
It'd smash your head in.
I am married to a Kiwi, so yeah.
Particularly violent, are they?
Yeah, she certainly wouldn't be impressed. Let's just say it that much. I think, as any partner would be.
What a politically correct way to answer that question. Look, I'm not saying they're violent, they're vicious. You just don't want to make them violent or vicious, just for reference.
You never watched their rugby team?
Nah, actually, I don't really follow the rugby scene that much. Only when the World Cup's on, really. I know that they do the weird haka dances at the start, but apart from that,
that's like the entry level. Look at an entry level PC. It's very basic, the haka.
Mm-hmm. Okay, haka some basic bitch dance. Love it.
But yeah, no. As I said, yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I can't wait to do that PC switch, and it just opens bigger doors, and I guess more opportunity to bring bigger and better content. And
I thought you said beer and better content. I mean, beer and better content is a good blend as well.
Yeah.
Complement each other, don't they? It's where the better content comes from. Beer entirely.
Is it? I don't know. Mr Mullet and beer and COD doesn't go real well. Like,
do we have a few slurs?
Not
do we?
politically correct by any chance.
Oh no! I just Aussies don't do beers less than 6 or 7, so
yeah,
it can get pretty.
We have that up north.
We drink that real strong beer out here, so yeah. If you're on stream for 6 or 7 hours, that's a lot of beers.
That's a good session.
It can get
that
pretty
is
messy, and So but nah. Yeah, it's usually just the energy drinks. They're usually the ones sugar free. May I note, sugar free.
Yeah, I do the sugar.
Have you tried? I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. But have you tried anything along the lines of Sneak?
It's a UK brand. It's an only UK brand, I believe, mate.
Yeah, there's people in the States and that who can buy it. Obviously, you can.
I probably won't get any plugs here or any like fans if there's any sponsors watching this, but I've tried Gamer Supplements. I've tried G Fuel. I've tried them all.
G Fuel's a bit wank though, to be fair.
I've just tried them all, and to me they're all right. It's like drinking Powerade to me. It's just a flavor, like it. I literally go. I don't know if you guys have Aldi out there.
We have Aldi.
Yeah.
We have Aldi. We love Aldi.
And he pronounced it right. He pronounced it right.
Aldi.
Thank God.
If the Aldi, dogs over in Germany are watching, yeah, I agree. The Flying Power is that's just an energy drink they do. It's like 79 cents a can, and it tastes exactly like Red Bull.
Probably is Red Bull.
Exactly. Oh, probably. It would shock me. But it's like 79 cents a can, 99% sugar free.
No fairs.
For me, but in saying that, yeah, look, when I first tried the Gamer Supplements, I actually won a tub on a giveaway. And
what was the tub, if you don't mind me asking?
It was the blue one. The blue.
The sky?
It wasn't. Sorry, no, it wasn't. No, I lied to you. It was some tropical flavor, tropical punch or something.
But like, what brand was it? G Fuel? Was it Sneak? Was it
Gamer Supplements?
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes, I think they're called. Although when I won the giveaway, I didn't realise it was Gamer Supplements. So on stream, I was like, "Oh yeah, I won this G Fuel," and they're like, "What flavor is it?" So I read them, and they're like, "G Fuel don't make that flavor." I was like, I looked at the tub, like, "Oh no, it's Gamer Supplements. Sorry about that." But when I first started drinking it, I thought, like, I was on stream the next day, like, "Oh, this is so good." All in your head, man. It's all just a, like, yeah. In my view, it's just a crock of reading on a label.
Nah,
like, at the end of the day, they all have energy boosts.
I feel as if the Sneak does have an effect. G Fuel not so much. And then you feel shit after G
I'd
Fuel
have to try
as well.
this.
But Sneak's generally quite good. You were going to say something there, Trojan?
Might have to.
I was going to say it's got 150 milligrams of caffeine. I mean, for me, so when
Crap.
so I used to I'm just a thing that exists purely fueled by caffeine and hate. Like I fucking hate everything.
Harry Palpatine.
And
My type of man.
but like I'd at work and that I'd have maybe two or three like cans of Monster, so they're like 500ml cans. I used to have like 2 or 3 a day. I might have like a coffee on top of that as well, just to sort of loosen us up for the morning, and then go on to the energy drinks. But I mean, since I've started drinking it, and again, I sound like one of these people who would say I've drank it, it's changed me life.
Sneak, this is, by the way.
Like none of that like shit. But like for me personally, I'll have you get 1 scoop. I've got the old tub. Trying to figure out where my camera is.
Wank flavour.
Tell us the truth. You put 2 scoops, don't you?
No. I have like 1 slightly heaped scoop. The effect. So I mean, for me, I tried that and it was literally like a caffeinated rocket up my arse. And in terms of like, so I have about 6 hours and with conventional energy drinks and that type of shit. Wait, I say shit. I'll still have one every now and again. Do you know what I mean? Because I like the taste, especially Mango Loco Monster. But I don't get any of the like crashes or out like that. It's just a nice sort of gentle sort of lays out, and then back to normal. Do you know what I mean? I feel obviously a bit tired once it wears off, because obviously I'm back to being me sort of caffeine craving ball of hate at that point. But I mean, sound for me, I mean, it might be shit for someone else. I'm not saying this is objectively better, but for me personally it is.
Yeah, like I'm like rocking one of the basic bitch flavors at the minute, but I am hoping, well, I've got the strawberry million one ordered, so that's coming out because I'm running low on this stuff. But for me, I feel as if it does make a difference. Like I say, I've tried other things in the past, and I've found that they don't work. And if they do work, it's nowhere near as much. I've actually spent a lot of time like doing data for like this product and compared to other products, and then coffee and then alcohol, which is what a lot of streamers will tend to use. This is up there, and it's up there by quite a bit. In terms of how much actual reaction speed improvement it does, because there's a way you can measure that. So yeah, I think that's a really, really cool little thing there, and I'm excited to bring that to you. But that video is not going to be ready for a good couple of months yet, because still testing other variables, and obviously your body can only clear stuff out every so often. So to restart the test and make sure it's a fair test, I'll do a cleanse. I know it sounds a bit so.
You're not putting that on the video, are you? The cleansing.
One of me friends, I seen them on Facebook. She's her own boss. She's a boss babe. She works from home. And I've just been buying tablets from her to cleanse us out. Get fucked.
It's just me and the kids from now on. So yeah,
those tablets don't even look entertaining.
What? Sorry.
Like, I've seen those tablets. Yeah, I've got a cousin that lives up the coast that is on this sort of health kick as well, and sells all these cleansing tablets, and these will cleanse you out.
It's more so for the sake of it being a fair test. So obviously, the more caffeine you put into yourself, the less effective it is, the more you have it. So I always start on like a fresh start, so to speak. Obviously, it'll be mentioned in the video. So obviously I've done the tests where I use it like once a day, every day, for 2 weeks, and the numbers do slowly dip in terms of the results. Whereas when I fresh start, the results are a lot more consistent. And then 2 weeks.
But I feel that with most even energy drinks, if you for some reason have a couple of streams where you might not have any in the fridge, or you forgot to pick up some or something like that. Then you do a stream on, a Sunday night, and you've just been shopping and stocked the fridge, and you jump on stream and you have 2 cans of whatever before you get on. It hits you like, it's almost like you haven't had it in so long. It's almost like the body is like ready. But if you're back to back to back streams, then I think there's everything out there would have a negative decline at some point. The body becomes normal to. It's like coffee drinkers. There's a reason why you start off and just have one coffee of a morning and you're sweet, and now you look at most coffee drinkers in their 40s or 50s on like 6 or 7 cups a day, because they're obviously still trying to get that caffeine hit.
Yeah, that's the importance of a good damn cleanse as well, is that you get that first buzz straight up. And it doesn't take that long to cleanse, to be honest, from caffeine. It takes 3 or 4 days.
I think for me, like, when I get to like the 40s and 50s, I'll probably be sniffing lines of ground up coffee beans, like.
But 3 or 4 days without
I hope you'll be doing videos of that.
Without caffeine. Like, don't get us wrong, day 3 and 4 is an absolute slog. But once you're on day 5, you feel fresh, you feel great. 6 sometimes, depending on how much of this stuff you've abused yourself with, coffee, G Fuel, Sneak, whatever it is, because it says there's no come down, which there isn't. Because obviously you could drink like a G Fuel, for example, and feel like shit after about 6-7 hours. Whereas you don't get a come down from that, but if you stop taking that abruptly, for example, after 2 weeks, the same with any caffeine product, you're gonna have a damn crash.
There was a product I
crash
tried
is
out
not
here.
a pretty one.
A pre-made can called Rays, I think it is.
I've heard of that.
Is it Rain? Is it Rain?
No, Rays. R-A-Z-E. And I actually just brought it. So out here in Australia, we sell them at most of our supplement sort of shops. The Gamer Fuels and G Fuels and all those sort of tubs. Which I don't know if Sneak is out here, but hey, you guys have given it a damn good plug. I'll be definitely checking it out when I'm in there next to see if it's there. I want to give it a try now. But I had this can of Rays for a stream, but I'd had an extremely busy day and I was already tired. I was already wrecked, and I probably shouldn't have streamed. I had this can, and for about 20 minutes, I felt on top of the world. Like, it had just boosted my energy. About 30 minutes into the stream, I actually started feeling sick. So I started having a headache. I started just feeling like...
That doesn't sound like a drink, mate.
And actually went and had a look at some reviews on it. And there's actually people out there saying exactly the same thing. That these... I've actually heard some other bigger streamers say the same. Is that even with some things like a G Fuel, if you're already tired, they actually have an adverse effect. It can actually make you feel... Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily bad for you. I'm not... I think everyone's looking for that product that
makes them better at being cod.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, 90% of the time when you're jumping on stream of a night time, if you are doing a night stream, you've already been up all day, working, doing whatever. So you're looking for something that you can have while you're already on that come down to bring you back up. If it's going to make you feel, then that defeats the purpose of having the product to start with. So, yeah, I just, look, as I said, I think I've had maybe 2 cans of G Fuel in my time, but I heard another streamer sort of talk about it after I had the same incident with this Rays, and I was like, no, that just sort of put question marks over me, where I was like, well, is that really effective for me? Being a nighttime streamer, 90% of my streams are from 7 to 8 p.m. They start at nighttime. I don't need a product that's going to make me, have a headache 30 minutes into a stream, because that...
Oh, it's awful when you feel like...
Vibe. Well...
It's awful when you feel like shit on a stream, because you can't just say, oh, right, I'm just going to call it in a night, boy, see you later. It's like, I'm kind of streaming. People are here now. There is an expectation. You have got that level of quality that you expect to maintain. It's like, it's like being ill at work. It's like, oh, God, I just need to get through it. It's like...
And in all honesty, being a streamer is no different. Like, you guys obviously watch football out there.
No.
Your last stream is only as good.
It's coming home.
Yes, you do.
It's coming home.
You do.
I fucking hate football.
I'm not gonna bring that up yet, but we will at some point.
It's coming home.
We will. Yeah. It
Actually,
was. Maybe
this will be getting released after the group stages, so it might not be coming home. I could be talking absolute tripe.
I've
Should
said, right, I've been saying for ages, because to me, is like, if football I'm not interested in at all. And the problem is, like, so where we live, you've got England, you've got Newcastle, and you've got Sunderland, and like the rivalry is fucking ridiculous.
for last place.
Like
Dick.
when I so that was like once I was out in Newcastle, and it had been Derby Day, so Sunderland and Newcastle had played each other. Newcastle lost. There was one guy ended up punching a police horse. I just went because I didn't even realise there was a match on because I don't watch it. Like I'd honestly people. So Newcastle wear black and white, Sunderland wear red and white, and like 9 times out of 10 people go, oh, so you're from Newcastle, are you? So yeah, are you black and white? Are you red and white? And it's like, nah, mate, I'm green and white. I'd rather watch the bloke paint the lines on the pitch than fucking watch the sport itself. So like when people are like,
oh, he's a very qualified person. That guy that paints the lines on the pitch. Have
Very
you not seen how
qualified.
straight those lines are?
but the thing is though, like you've got so like someone will go, oh, how can you not watch football? And it's like, well, let us put it in a context that you'll understand. Imagine if football wasn't like the. I mean, don't get us wrong; it's a universal thing, and the world over fucking loves it. I just don't. It's shit, in my opinion. But like, when you try to explain that to someone who's obsessed with it, and you go, right, let us put it in a context that you'd understand. So you're on your way to work, and on the radio, there's they're talking about the latest archaeological dig. The biggest archaeologist in the world, he's implementing some new technology, where he's able to dust the bones off a bit better. He's able to preserve the data and stuff like that a lot better. And you get to work, and one of your pals turns around and goes, "Oh, you seen this archaeological dig over here?" And you say, "What do you mean archaeology? Like, I don't get where you're going." And it's like, well, imagine that everyone was chatting shit about archaeology, and you're just sat there thinking, "I don't care about fucking dinosaur bones. Fuck off." It's like, that's how I feel about football. It's fucking boring.
Very passionate. So if ever we say, like, when Rue's here, especially whenever we're talking about what bets are on, or we're watching a match, and Trojan will just go, "Ah, you're watching paint dry." It's like, oh, okay, less of that.
Yeah, watching a fucking submarine race would be more interesting.
Hey, mate.
You've never watched submarine racing?
That's the best. It's the best. Better than football.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Mate.
football's coming home, boys.
What do you mean?
Football's coming home.
When COVID was on, when COVID was on, COVID's still on, but when it was at its peak and it was like the whole world was shut down, they were doing like virtual marble racing down the hill. Like, this was groundbreaking stuff.
You'd love that, Andy, you boring bastard.
Snail racing.
Better than football, and at least at the end of it,
Yeah,
there's a chance of the marble actually going home.
But in finishing off, my
Hey.
comparison with being like a football star and a streamer is you're only as good as your last game or your last stream, you know. So in that, what we're talking about it being at your best each night it's the same. Like, obviously you might not love football, but if you have a look at the washout from England-Scotland game, Neil all boys, it's just been crazy. Like, they're throwing players out under the bus. They're like, this is ridiculous. He shouldn't be here. Again, if they come out in the next game and win 5-0, then they're the greatest,
That is the nature of sport, to be fair. Which I don't
think
agree
that's
with.
the same as...
I've always had that issue. It's the same with I was going to call it e-gaming, esports as well. If you're not performing to the highest levels, you're the worst thing to ever have existed in the sport. If you're doing well, you're the next big thing. Why aren't you getting more recognition? I've always had that problem with sport, to be honest, no matter what the sport is, so I can kind of dig that. Moving on to another topic.
I don't like it, but yeah.
Yeah, moving on to another topic which Andy hates, being Warzone and Battle Royale. Now, in our little shit test interview we did last week, you kind of had a very passionate point about this. And the question that will be getting put out to you, both, including myself, is will Battlefield actually kill Warzone? Now, following my video, I said that it'll play a part in killing Warzone, but I don't think it's going to outright kill it. As I think it will have already killed itself by then. Hexley thinks that it's going to absolutely destroy Warzone. Awkward Onion thinks it's going to absolutely destroy Warzone. And Trojan's just sick of Battle Royale. So, take the floor, guys.
I don't think it's going to destroy it, to be honest. I really don't. Because at first, when I was thinking, like, my first thoughts were, might, big maps, blah, 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 blah. But I think for most people who love Battle Royale and borderline touch themselves over Battle Royale, the main rush of playing those games is the risk that if you die, you lose it all, you've got to start again. And with things like Battlefield, it's more like playing COD multiplayer, just on a bigger scale. So I don't think personally that it will.
Okay, moving on to you, Mr. Mullet.
This is gonna make it awkward now. Now I'm going to agree with him. No, look, I did have the fear. As a Warzone player, Call of Duty is my forte. I don't have any love with the Battlefield scene at all. The game doesn't do anything for me. Flying, having tanks and stuff like that. It just, yeah. I'm a Counter-Strike Go original player. That's where I come from. So to me, was Search and Destroy was my first love on Call of Duty. So then to the Battle Royale scene. I don't like the overpowered multiplayer. So they already have that now over on Cold War, where you can play Fire Team and all these different, game modes that are more players. That, to me, I think Battlefield wanted a Battle Royale and then realised how hard it was going to be to have a Battle Royale with their anti-cheat. Everyone thought that Battlefield would release Battle Royale and they'd have the magic anti-cheat and there'd be no hackers or anything else. Then they sat back and went, oh, we don't want to be like Activision. They just dropped it. And that was the end of their Battle Royale. I don't think they'll ever have a Battle Royale. I don't think they'll ever be a real competitor to Warzone as far as Battle Royale. It'll do successful. Battlefield has its lovers, so it's just like any other game. The regular Battlefield fans will still be there come launch day. But do I think people will go from Warzone to Battlefield, stay there? They'll go to Battlefield, they'll play Battlefield on their days. But if they love Battle Royale, they'll be back.
And this is where the disagreement comes in. So
I don't think we're going to be sitting there in a lobby for 4 hours waiting for a game because everyone's over on Battlefield playing.
Yeah, okay, fair enough on that one. It'll not be that long, but I do think I think there is a genuine question out there for how many people were playing multiplayer at Call of Duty before Warzone came out compared to the sheer numbers that Battle Royale Warzone got. The question has got to be asked: how many of Battlefield's key population is in Warzone at the minute waiting for another Battlefield game? I think that number is quite high, because the last 2 Battlefield games that have come out have been utter wank. So that has drawn people to the bigger maps who like the Battlefield games to Warzone and Apex and the like. But most of those players are in Warzone. And I think once this Battlefield comes out, if it is any good at all, if it's anywhere near 3, anywhere near 4, I think there's going to be a huge influx of people playing that game who have come from the Battle Royale, who've been waiting for that game to release. I know quite a few people who love Battlefield but don't have any time for multiplayer and just play Warzone on a free-to-play basis because they're waiting for a decent, big map multiplayer game. I know Battle Royale isn't multiplayer, but obviously in terms of like PvP, it is. So I think there's a huge market of people who are sat there in Battle Royale right now waiting for Battlefield to come out. And people, as Trojans like kind of implied, people are kind of getting bored of Battle Royale now. It's brilliant for us content creators and people really enjoy watching it, but not that many people in comparison, are enjoying playing it at the moment. So I think for content creators, it's still going to be the buzz. But I think for actual players, I can see a lot of people going there. But I don't think it's going to be the main killer. I do think there's going to be a huge population shift over there, but I still think Warzone will have more players. I think what the damage is going to be done for Warzone is going to be done by itself, because before Battlefield comes out, there'll be another COD game. Now, I don't know if you're like involved in Twitter and all that stuff, but it's insider information is suggesting that that game is up shit creek. At this stage in development, the game's usually just about ready. They're just balancing it, putting the finishing touches on, and putting like obviously like the graphics engine on to make it actually look really good, and developing obviously optimization. They're nowhere near that. Apparently, the game's not even sketched out properly yet. Apparently, it's not even like developed properly yet. And the theme that it's going to be a World War II game, like I don't obviously you'll remember last decade. The last decade was flooded with these games, with World War II games, or alternate reality World War II games. People are bored of it the same way people got bored of the 3D movement thing that existed in the later part of the 10s decade. People are kind of getting bored of Battle Royale 2 in that phase, in that era of Cold War. People didn't want to go back in time. That's ultimately why Cold War kind of flopped. People didn't want that era. People are really disappointed with the Cold War era because it went back in time. People want the modern aspect, or the slightly future aspect, not like miles up in rocket ships and shit, and not any further behind than, say, you know, like the First War of Iraq or anything like that. That is like the golden area of like the eras people want to be playing in, and I think Battlefield's, I think it's going to take some players off. And with the new COD, I think the new COD and the fact that they're adamant they're going to integrate that as well into Warzone to go back in time even further, I don't think Battlefield will have a Warzone to kill, because I think it'll have already killed itself. So that's kind of where I stand.
Should I tell you why I disagree?
Go on.
Well, one, because you're a cock. Or two,
Because I'm what?
Because you're a cock.
Oh, okay. Not the worst thing you've told me.
Well,
that's a great way to start a reply.
Well, comparing, so the main way that I compare it is like saying that everyone's going to stop buying FIFA because Rocket League 2 is coming out. They're the same thing, but also completely different.
They're not the same thing, are they?
But that's the way that like multiplayer versus battle royale is. So like with both of them, I mean, if you remove the aspect of cars and remove the aspect of people, they are football games. Do you know what I mean? Whereas versus, I think it'll be the next. There's got to be, for Warzone specifically to die, there's got to be a new fucking fad battle royale. I don't, as much as I regret to say it, I don't think battle royale will be dying out anytime soon.
No?
No. And look, probably just to counteract what was said earlier by yourself was, let's just go out in a bit of left field here, alright? So you just said that they're looking at the next COD, they're talking about it on Twitter, they're saying that it's not up to scratch, blah 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 blah. What about if Call of Duty is sitting there with massive plans for Battle Royale? There is a new map. They do have an anti-cheat, but they don't want to release it now, because the advantage of releasing it now, it's fine. They've still got the majority of the market. Everyone's still playing. When Battlefield drops, what's to say just before Battlefield's launch they don't go, here you go, here's your new Warzone map, and here's our anti-cheat, and Battlefield will be sitting there in their head office in the fetal position, crying, you know, going, oh my god, we didn't see this coming. Call of Duty are not a small, Activision, they're not small companies. They've got big dollars behind them. I think that...
Yeah, but they're not going to invest the big dollars. Like, if they wanted to keep their player base, they would have this unbalanced game shit fixed immediately. They would have They would have anti-cheats immediately. They don't have that, and I don't think they're going to drop that on us.
Or was it 3 months? Roughly 3 months ago. Let's go back to pre-launch of Season 3 of Warzone, yeah?
Okay.
Have you seen more hype for an update on a game than Season 3 in Warzone? There were more tweets in the lead up week to that game about will there be a new map, will there be this, will there be that. Now, yes, ultimately we got a really bright sun that looked like the sun was falling out of the sky, and you can only play Verdansk from one side of the map, because if you're trying to snipe the other way, you can't see anyone. But the hype was there, and there's certainly a massive pool of players.
Yes, the hype was there, but the execution wasn't. Activision have always been good at hype. They made Advanced Warfare look good, but in terms of actual execution, completely different thing. Now, Battlefield as well has problems of its own. It never releases right on first day, and if they cock that up, the game's dead in the water straight up, the same way they killed Titanfall 2.
In all honesty, I am not now a gamer. I am a content creator.
Welcome to the world.
I may hate Battlefield with a passion. The ultimate fact is that if Battlefield is the #1 first-person shooter on the market, I'm playing Battlefield.
Well, exactly.
Like, it's if it is the prime product, then I have no question.
That's what I said on Wednesday. Like I said on Wednesday's video that where's the channel going to go once this comes? And I basically said whatever's the most popular. People are going to vote with their viewership at the end of the day, and that's kind of how it's going to be. If I enjoy the other game more, I'll play it, but I'll probably stream it, if that makes sense. So I'll do all like the gun guides, I'll do all like the edited gameplay footage for the top game, but I might stream the second game every now and then, once a week or something, you know what I mean? Just so I can still enjoy a game I prefer more, whatever that game may be. But I do think, I think it's going to be interesting to see where the first-person shooter content creators are at the end of the year. Obviously, it's all going to be Warzone for the majority of this year, but where it ends is going to be another thing. Because I do think Vanguard, the next Call of Duty, is probably going to be called. I think that's going to be what kills Warzone. I don't think it's going to be Battlefield. But I do think
I'm probably most unbiased here. I've never ever in my life played Battlefield, any Battlefield. I've never even loaded into a game of Battlefield. So I've seen trailers, I've seen videos of gameplay, but I've never actually been in the Battlefield arena or played Battlefield. So as far as a game playing point of view, I don't know how it actually plays and how the old ones play.
Very similar.
Very similar.
More of an emphasis on team
play. What I play.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, if you go and ask an NBA player, game player, do they play 2K or do they play EA Sports? Or do you, which version of a game do you want? Well, in my view, it's sort of Battlefield. Which one do you prefer? And Battlefield has always been, I just think it mimicked CSGO for me. I felt that CSGO feel. I don't know, but in saying that, if I go and play,
Have you played Valorant, mate?
I haven't played Valorant.
Biggest copy-paste job ever.
Apex Legends either. I haven't played either of them. As I said, Call of Duty was...
Well, if you remember...
Apart from sports games.
People thought that Valorant was going to be the COD killer. People were all talking about Valorant and how it's going to be the next big thing. It's going to be the biggest FPS game going. It's going to have the biggest competitive scene. It's going to be all this and all that. And what was it? A weaker copy and paste job of CSGO, which, no offense, is already past its prime. So, like...
Oh, wait, Hexy talked me into playing CSGO, and
I'm
honestly,
sorry for your loss of time. You'll never get that back.
Me, honestly, I'd rather
not anymore.
I'd rather suck a fart out of someone's arse than play that game ever again. Like, so like there was 3 or 4 times, and like a lot of the time people will go, "Oh, that's fucking bullshit. He should have died." Blah 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 blah. But like there was, I would say 1 in 3 times, because my aim isn't garbage all of the time, and I'd had plenty caffeine at this point. And there was 3 or 4 times where the little sort of reticle was literally, if you zoomed in on the screen and seen where the reticle was, you would have literally been looking at this bloke's fucking breakfast, because you would have been looking in his mouth while he was chewing it. And when I was clicking, like 3 or 4 times, I like pulled the trigger. Should have took basically surgically removed someone's lips from their skull, and they just turned around and went, "Nah, cunt," and just slapped us clean out of existence. It's like, yeah, this game's bullshit. I played 4 games and uninstalled it.
Oh, I can't remember what game it was. I can't remember what game it was where I did that with Hexy. It wasn't Scavengers, because I actually quite like Scavengers. There was something else I had to play before. It was like another battle royale game. It was like one way I had like a stupid little butterfly flipping about all over the stuff, whatever it was called. He was like, this game is unreal. It's class. And I played it. And I was like, I've had shits more developed than this. Like, what? Like, so yeah. To be fair, though, if you do want a niche game, Hexy is the kid to talk to. I think he's playing lots of DayZ at the minute. He's absolutely smashing that, isn't he? Like, what's it, like 12 hours a day or something? He's on that. Huge numbers. He's playing with the Yank crowd at the minute. So, yes. Well, not right now, obviously, but
as I said, look, I'm excited, man. I think whenever there's a challenge in a game, or there's ever a shift in game coming out, it almost... They almost know that they have to lift their game at some point.
Well, competition's good for everyone. Like, straight up.
Is that just me hoping? Is that just me hoping that
competition's good for the competition's good for the business. It's good for the public, and it's generally good for the community. So it's good for everyone. Competition. Like, you take Intel and AMD for example. I might be speaking gibberish to maybe the pair of you here. Maybe it's not Andrew anymore, but I'll crack on. Intel dominated the market for about 10, 12, 13 years with their CPUs, and it was tiny changes and price increases, and they dominated it. Nothing changed. If you want the newest like Intel chip, which was like the i7, you would be paying about £350 for like the high-end i7, not like the super duper ones, but like the high-end game content creator one. And then AMD came along with their Ryzen, and people were like, well, I'm an Intel fanboy, and I'm an AMD fanboy, and I'm just sat there like, I'm a PC fanboy. Like, this is brilliant, because what happened was, for that £300, for the £200, which maybe's got you like a high i5, that got you a really high-end i7 equivalent on the Ryzen side, and that was unreal. And Intel panicked so hard that the prices like initially plummeted. Obviously they're kind of stabilized now, but now we get so much more for our money in the PC sphere, just because there's competition now with the CPUs. Now we need competition with the GPUs now for the graphics card prices to kind of adjust. I know obviously there's stock shortage at the minute, but competition is brilliant for everyone. So I hope Battlefield brings competition, even if it doesn't kill it. Even if it doesn't kill it.
My biggest question is why? Why no Battle Royale? Why did they pull it? Because there was obviously plans for Battlefield to have a Battle Royale like Warzone. Did they get one made? And did they look at it and went, yeah, that's shit?
No, I don't think so. I think, obviously, given the track record, Battlefield do big maps much better than what COD does. But I'm thinking that they don't want to be seen as a copy and paste job, maybe. But I'm assuming that there's going to be a similar mode in Battlefield. They might have said there's not going to be a Battle Royale, but maybe there's going to be a similar mode which they just give a different name. Like, I wouldn't rule out, because remember, Modern Warfare 2019 didn't release with Battle Royale. That came halfway during the game's life cycle, and there's nothing to say that Battlefield won't do the exact same. That's genuinely how I feel about it.
Look, as I said, if the demand is there, then we may see Mr Mullet on a Battlefield, on the Battlefield title. But as I said, personally, as I said, with the experience of playing them, no. So I'm literally just going off what I've seen of them, and as I said, I'm intrigued. I'm hoping it sort of kicks Call of Duty in the backside. There's clear things that the Call of Duty have failed on. You know, for someone that plays 40 hours a week, I'd be naive to sit here and say that they have a perfect game and life's cruisy and I love going onto the dance floor. Every second game is ruined by some clown, sitting on a rooftop, with 40 kills, aimbotting people, or it just Now there's magnetic bullets, for God's sake. I got killed by someone the other day shooting in the opposite direction to me. Wasn't even shooting towards me, and the bullet just like almost done like a full U-turn on the screen. I was like,
that
what?
squeaky chair there had like the perfect sort of line up with your hand motion. Me.
It just yeah. So it is frustrating, and I think it's the premier battle royale. So like, I would love to see them less worrying about putting in reactive operator outfits that no one's going to wear. We don't want to look like dead mouse out on the battlefield. Like, the game, have they not realised? Do they not look and see how many people wear a rose skin? Like, people don't want to be seen, so why are you giving us lights on our outfits? I think there could have been better time spent on.
I've noticed they've done another little nerf to that rose skin as well. Now it's like a light grey black hue instead of just outright black. But yeah, I mean,
doesn't matter. We still can't see them anyway because we're still blinded by the sun.
I've got no argument to that. I've got no comeback to that. But the best case scenario, honestly, best case scenario for Battle Royale players is that Battlefield comes along. It takes away the player base that want the Battlefield game. That's just been kind of biding their time on Battle Royale. It takes them away. Okay, let's say that's 10, 15% of the player base. That's a huge portion of people, which will make COD go, holy shit. Now, take away the fact that the game's probably going to be smaller anyway with Vanguard and that integration. Then, COD is going to have to get off their arse and bring something into the game. They're going to have to then
100%.
they're going to have to then give us anti-cheat. They're going to have to then give us a balanced meta. They're going to have to then give us a bit more optimized performance. Like, games that are 10 times more graphically demanding than COD run at a higher frame rate. That is unacceptable. However, that's on an Infinity Ward engine, and Infinity Ward have been awful through all their games for optimization for PC, so that's no real surprise. So, best case scenario is that Battlefield and COD hurts Warzone, so then Warzone has to react and give us the shit that we've been clamoring for a long time. And maybe that's the plan. Maybe they've got the anti-cheat ready, but they don't want to release it until Battlefield comes out. Maybe it's their trump card, you know?
I just don't know if that's my hopeful thinking as a Warzone fan.
I think
that's how I sleep at night.
They've got the
anti-cheat. I sit down on the corner of my bed and I cross my fingers and bow my head and hope that they're sitting on that anti-cheat somewhere. But look, as I said, it's exciting times.
It's definitely a trump card.
For first-person shooters or players, it's an exciting time. This is, you want to see new titles come out. You want to see what the next game creator has. And as I said, I think I'm not a massive fan of Cold War, to be honest. I play it, level up guns, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You'll never see me sit over there. I'm a fan of Modern Warfare. I love Modern Warfare. I've always been a fan.
I need to carry on
There's
my
nothing better
with it, actually.
than sitting there with a COD mate, having an argument about who can snipe better, and then, pulling each other onto Rust for a 1v1 on a Saturday night at 11 p.m. and you're both screaming at each other down your mics. Or, I think there's been more arguments from first-person shooter players settled on Rust than anywhere else. So Modern Warfare is a nice game to play.
It is. So, George, I want to get your view on this, actually, if you don't mind. Like, you actually really enjoy multiplayer, as do I. Shock. I actually prefer multiplayer, if I'm being honest. But obviously the views are on Warzone. Like, do you guys feel as if multiplayer is dead? Or do you feel as if, like, there's hope for it? Like, where do you guys stand on that topic?
I think there'll always be a market for multiplayer.
Yeah?
Always.
Yeah, I don't think it's dead. And I don't also think that it's a killer for content creators either. I think that comes down to the content creator. I think that if you're going to stream multiplayer, you need to be as engaging as. You need to be there, you need to be talking your viewers through your search and destroy. Again, free-for-all, Nuketown, or something like that, Shipment, or what any of these type of maps is. Of course, I don't want to go and watch someone sit in a corner shooting people. But if you're going to play objective modes like search and destroy, stuff like that. Yeah, I think that there's always going to be a market for those type of game modes because you still go back to that competitive game sense. So
Yeah.
you've only got to have a look at esports and how many people tune in to watch FaZe play in a search and destroy sort of base. It'll always be there. That competitive side of multiplayer, because of esports, will always hold a point. And you watch esports, and if you ever sort of sit up at night and watch Call of Duty League play, it almost makes you want to go over there and see if you can replicate that
It doesn't
5
for
kill
me.
on search. See, I'll sort of watch FaZe and I'll watch those guys sort of drop, one of them take out a whole team.
Yeah.
Like,
Ginger Fox and Rue are
multiplayer
really
on, I
into
go
it.
over there and I step out behind a wall and get headshotted and I'm the first one on the team to die. But the
I just
process of being like them was there.
I just feel as if multiplayer at the minute is just a little bit too campy. I mean, obviously Warzone's very campy as well. Don't get us wrong. That's not to say that's why it's worse. It's not absolutely, but I feel as if I don't know. It's just something about multiplayer. I really enjoy it. Obviously, the viewership's not there, but on Cold War, it's just a bit shite. If I'm being honest, I play Modern Warfare multiplayer, and I love it. Love it.
So this might blow your mind. So out in the Australian scene, I don't know what happens in the UK or the US. I'm guessing we'd have some US viewers as well, so not sure what happens in their scenes. But over in the Australian scene now, we've started our own custom nights. So we run our own custom lobby Warzone games.
Mm-hmm.
We will run either on Rebirth, on the Warzone, or Mini Royale. Get all the streamers in, so it's streamer versus streamer. You can bring some of your followers, or you can bring some of your team if you're playing a crew, and they usually KD cap it, so they'll put a 5 KD on the team, so that you must then have to fit your team in under that 5 KD.
A1A fit no bother in there, boys.
That's it, man. Well, I'm
in
an
that team 20 times.
I'm an 0.42 KD player, and I love it because usually I'll either play with my squad, which a couple of the boys have pretty high KDs, or if I want to slot onto one of the better teams, I can usually slot right in there because there'll be two 3.5 KD players, and then Mr Mullet slides in there with his 0.41, and it makes no difference. It's just like it's. So what we've noticed is that been a massive push with viewers. Viewers love that because all their streamers in the scene are sort of going against each other. But now we've started multiplayer custom nights. So we'll go on to, let's say, Rust or Trench or somewhere, and we'll have snipers only, bolt action. We have all the sort of set up rules. You'll have 20 streamers going against each other. A snipers only match. And the viewers like that. Now, do the viewers like watching me sit on multiplayer leveling up a weapon? No, of course they don't. That's just very boring. To see someone just grinding out certain attachments and that type of stuff is not enjoyable at all. And I wouldn't go watch it. I always view of would I watch it? If not, then I won't stream it. So if I'm going to go and level up a gun, then I do it, in my own time, which is extremely hard when you're streaming 40 hours a week to find your own time to go play. But
yeah, man.
So that's where I find that we've actually had a couple of the UK guys, including last week's I'm sure it was last week's or the week before. In Awkward Onion, come over and played some of our custom games. He's been in a few of them. Not that he likes the ping very much, but he certainly had some fun. He found it enjoyable. So yeah, that's one way we've found to counteract because it's very hard as a content creator to play Warzone. It's very hard to put out good content when you have hacker, sitting there in the final circle. You take that away by playing in a custom game where there's no hackers, and if there is anyone hacking, then they're very quickly kicked out, and they won't be there the next game. And it's pretty well policed to make sure that who's in there is not running anything they shouldn't, and it just makes it all comes down to the skill base of the player, and we get some really good games, and games, a good content, and everyone wins. But yeah, I don't think multiplayer is dead. I think multiplayer will always have a market. It just will it ever be as big as it once was? Probably not. You know, I think at one point it was massive. Now it's there, but it's just
a shadow of what it formerly was.
I'm scared I'm scared from what you said about the new COD because that could put it.
Well,
their
developers are like, well, not so much this game's developers, but developers are leaving to go work on Battlefield. That should be petrifying. Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's scary to fact if Cold War was, let's say, like 3 out of 10.
Treyarch,
it's okay.
Treyarch's developers have got their head in the sand. They don't talk to anybody unless they're banning someone. Raven, like, are still figuring it out, which I'm afraid it might be too little, too late. Although the past few changes they've made have been positive, they are on the right track. And then Infinity Ward hasn't been the same since most people left for what you call the Apex Legends studio Respawn. So yeah, COD's development wise, it's not looking in a good place at the moment. Obviously, Warzone was a fluke. I don't want to be that guy, but Warzone was a fluke because they only anticipated that lasting a year until they built another Warzone map. But with how big it was, obviously it's now, I think they wanted to be a 10-year project or something daft like that. 10 years of Warzone won't last. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
See, I played it was Blackout, I think it was.
Not for you.
Crap.
Yeah, not for you. Not for me either, man. Not for me either.
It just too. Yeah, it just didn't. It didn't appeal at all. It was very very average to say the least. Like if you're grading sort of out of 10, if it got a 1.5 from me, it was cheering. You know, the current Warzone, as I said, it's probably that midway. It probably does only sit at a 5, because potential is there to be a 10. Of course, they've got one of the best base products, but in Battle Royale, they just can't get past that 5, and they're just sitting there, you know, coasting. Happy with the 5 almost.
I think they're coasting. Yeah, well, they're sleepwalking into a
but
demise.
As you said, if Battlefield take majority of the market and they do get their release date right, and we all know release days are everything. If Battlefield servers go down on release day, and it's very quickly that people go, what are we in for? Okay, back to
Warzone.
Back to Warzone.
Why are you playing Battlefield? I haven't played it since the crack on the first day.
If they get it right, if they get it right, first 3 months, again, could put Activision and everyone backs against the wall, and they will have one chance at a response. That's a nice, as a gamer, is where you'll see what they've actually got. And if they can't respond to it, bye-bye.
People will vote with viewership. That's just how it's going to be.
100%.
Just how
I said, it won't die. It won't ever be gone. It just won't have the majority of the market. And unfortunately, streaming or online game creators now almost hold the key. We're the ones pushing the product out. You know, you've only got to have a look at Twitch and Facebook gaming. These are billion-dollar industries.
See what they are playing.
Humongous.
Yeah.
So if people want to buy a game, you don't go on and read Game Reviewer anymore. There's no more like jump on, let's read it. Why? I can go and watch a guy play it for half an hour. I can go and watch this guy play it for half an hour. I'll see what it looks like. And if it looks good, then I'll go and buy it.
Yeah. If
it looks crap, then I'll do the same with Battlefield. Even as a content creator, my first thing is there will be Battlefield creators out there that will be ready to stream day one. We'll be straight there, watching, seeing what it's like. But if it intrigues me, it's a very quick install and let's go.
Yeah.
Let's see what's this train's like.
Are you into it, Trojan? Are you kind of someone that would play a Battlefield, or how do you feel about the Battlefield topic? COD aside, Battlefield.
I mean, I enjoyed Battlefield 4, but the problem that I have it's a similar theme with Warzone as well. So the problem that I have with games of that nature and the size of the maps is you die from fucking nowhere, literally nowhere at all. Like the easiest way to explain, because I mean, from an input perspective and how you play the game, if you take away the size of the map and all of that sort of stuff. So for me, but obviously Battlefield 4 versus, let's say one of the CODs like Modern Warfare 2, they play quite similarly, but the game is entirely different because of the size of the map. You've got to make decisions in a lot of a different way. Plus, destructive environments is a massive thing as well. So I mean, Battlefield 4, I can't remember what map it was, but there's one with like a massive fucking skyscraper in the middle, which can be demolished. So I mean, like, a lot of those aspects I really enjoyed, but like I didn't like a lot of the very, very open maps, because like I'm just sort of like, I'll see someone in the distance, I'll try and shoot them, miss, they'll disappear like a fart in the wind, and then like 2 minutes later they'll snipe us from like three fucking cities away, and it's like, all right, sound.
I'm the guy that does that. It's like, we want to pop at me, son. Right, get a load of this.
Yeah, pretty much.
But like, if you
that
had, like,
scares me, yeah.
If you had like a party to play up with, though, children, would you play it more? Like, if you could spawn right back on the teammate that was right next to you when you died, if you had someone that you could trust to kind of back you up, like, is
probably, yeah, because the main like my main issue with, and I've told you this until I've been blue in the face, my main problem with things like Warzone, and the main reason why I don't like Battle Royale, is if I go on my computer to play a game, I'm doing exactly that. I'm going on the computer
to play
a game. If I wanted to watch someone play fucking a game, I would jump onto someone. That was a canny good shot.
Did you catch that?
I know. Yeah, with Karate Kid.
Thought you did.
But like if I want to watch someone else play the game, I'll jump on YouTube, or I'll jump on Twitch. More likely YouTube than Twitch, but I would jump onto YouTube and I'd watch a stream. I don't want to die and then consequently have to watch me pal play a game for like 10-15 minutes, which is where with Battlefield the appeal is. Do you know what I mean? One of the reasons why, like, from a perspective of, I've thought about being a content creator, but at the end of the day I'd just be plugging other players, because I'd be dead all the time, I'd be gulagging, and I'd just be watching other people, and people would be getting a stream of that.
Done me pretty well. Come, we can spectate together. I'll tell you the key. You just choose really good teammates, all right? You got to choose good teammates. They don't want to see squad
am I going to find them?
But you've seen how big my shoulders are compared to my size. Like, I need a bit more to, like, if I die, like, I've got to tell people on stream, you're live. Play for the content. Don't camp around for like 6-7 minutes until the end. Like, there is that kind of like element to it as well. So I think if, for example, let's take the Invincibles stream, which we did a few months ago. We had Eric on there. What's it called now? Seagoing Fan. He goes by a different name now, I think. And there was a moment where the game depended on him. Like, our run for the entire night depended on him because everyone was dead. 3v1. Twice this happened. In Warzone, he'd have sat in a corner for a bit and then just kind of cracked on. People would have went off. What does Eric do on multiplayer? He goes hunting the bastards down, blowing them all up with rockets. Like, beautiful.
Legend.
Beautiful.
Legend.
Like, even I can be sat there, dead, like, nothing I can do, but my viewers are watching someone else pop around and go an absolute ape. And I think that's brilliant. And I hope that Battlefield brings that as well. Because, like, you know, Warzone is one of those games where you do spend a lot of time dead. So you need to make sure that when you are dead...
we all spend time dead. Not everyone does, but we...
So when I'm actually watching other people play the game, like spectating it, like, if they're just sat there camping in a bush, like, no one really wants to see that. Unless it's like the end circle and can they pull off like a 3v1 squad kind of super wipe, but apart from that, no one's really interested in that. So the fact that you can be spectating someone, like, I think usually in that game it's like an 8-second respawn timer anyway. Like, you can just be watching people like absolutely go ape, and I think some of the best moments I've seen have been spectated. So as well. So yeah, I think
we sort of have
what
a
Andrew
rule,
says,
if
being dead doesn't have that much of an effect.
sort of playing with 4 streamers, we'll go. So if everyone else is dead, then you go for a most wanted. That's almost the key. You want to get that most wanted. The content sort of still rolling on. You're not going for a scav. You're not going to collect 4 crates and loot some buildings while 3 other players are sitting there, you know. So we'll grab a helicopter and try and mow some people down as they're trying to chase you down. But again, yes, that's something that even intrigues me, how Battlefield do it, because that's where it could be a change in the content creation of, yes, I've died, but I am back. And, you know, because you do need, fortunately, you know, there comes times where you might be playing with a mate that isn't a streamer. He doesn't care how engaging it is for your viewers. So then you're almost spectating with your mic off because you don't want to ruin his comms. And you're trying to make stream interesting. He's plottering around, you know, sitting in a helicopter in the sun so that no one can see him. It's not riveting for... although I did play my first tournament about a month ago, and going into this tournament there were a lot of really high KD players, and Mr Mullet realised that he was way out of his depth. I also realised as a content creator debuting in a tournament, I needed a top 20 out of the 100. I sat there for a week and planned it out, how I was going to get to the ground without being shot. I actually run over this many of times in the week leading up, how I would get to the ground, where the bertha would spawn, how I'd get that bertha, where I'd place myself, and I literally had my chat almost on the edge of their seat. I think it was one of my highest viewing streams. The fact that they knew that this 0.4, I think I was 0.3 something at that point, KD player was going to finish inside the top 20 of this tournament with all these big name players, and it was just great. The fact I think I ended up finishing 14th, I think 14th or 15th, out of all these, you know, top KD players. I didn't fire a shot all game. Not one bullet. I literally was in a bertha to the final circle, and unfortunately it decided to finish where there were all these buildings, and Mr Mullet had to jump out of the bertha, and yeah, that was the end of it. They knew I was in the bertha, and then once I got out of that protective shield. But again, just the content of being able to keep it engaged. I, you know, had known going in that, you know, it was never going to be a high kill game. I was never dropping 20 kills and taking the win. But yeah, just back to that. If you've got to think outside the box of how you keep your content, you know, I guess engaging, but that Battlefield does, you know, make it riveting. The fact of when you die, you can spawn back next to your teammates. Well, that's almost like, you know, playing Rebirth on a big map.
It's going to be open season, I reckon.
Rebirth has been... See, I like Rebirth. I don't know about you guys, but see, I like Rebirth. I like the fact I can respawn back, and I like the fact you can die 10 times in the first, you know...
I like it, but it's not good for content, unfortunately.
Yeah... It's not the most riveting, no, because again, people enjoy that strategic play. They want to see you and how your brain ticks under intense moments, and how you can orchestrate yourself in the top level of a building, of a house, sorry, the whole squad coming in on you. They want to see how you get yourself out of that. Unfortunately, in Rebirth, until the final circle, don't see that. It's sort of just go hell for leather and shoot as many people as you possibly can, like you're on shipment, and hopefully a teammate survives till the last circle, and then you're all there, and days you probably get a dub. But yeah, you've got me intrigued. I'm telling you, I started this podcast and I couldn't have gave a crap if Battlefield time sync done whatever, but you've actually got me interested.
That's what we do here on this channel, man. We generate interest and sometimes create.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. So who knows? We could be squatting up in Battlefield.
Could well be. Could well be. We need to do it in COD as well, man. So we'll have to get that organised.
That sounds good.
I know I'm organising a stream actually for our subscribers who actually been begging for this and actually do watch the podcast all the way through. Me and Onion have talked, and it's looking like next Saturday morning is when we're going to get some content together for that. I won't be streaming it, but obviously Onion will. But I will be recording everything as always, and I think it's going to be a very, very, very fun little gaming session there. So it's a little plug in for that. But time will see whether the Battlefield actually does do anything with Warzone, whether it actually creates its own new little market in the game sphere. So we'll see. But next we are going to
exciting times.
Yeah, man, very exciting times. So next we're briefly going to move on to something kind of like out of my league a little bit. But vaping. This is how you got yourself into streaming. Yeah, you did a lot of like content regarding the vaping market. I don't know if Trojan has any input on this either. I don't know. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But tell us a bit about the vaping community, and this might be something that you two kind of lead the conversation on this time. Like Trojan with the COD talk, I might just be sat back and just listening to you two crack on here. So, what's the crack?
That's what it is. I sort of come into vaping about 12 years ago now, 10 years ago. Back on the old sort of stick vaporizers that sort of had the little capsule you screw onto the top with the cotton, and you know, it's gone light years now to the point of sort of have a pod, and then I've got a battery operated device with the tank. I don't really get into much of the rebuildable stuff these days. Look, the scene's pretty good. It's I'm not as probably deep into the scene as I once was. I still talk to a fair few vapors. I'm guessing anyone that watches this podcast would know the Vaping Bogan. Based out of Australia. He's out in tattoos and does some crazy reviews and so forth and so on. Pretty cool dude. But yeah, I think it's a lesser of two evils in my view. If you don't vape, if you don't smoke, don't go and pick up a vape and start vaping. It's not a cool device. It's not something you do to be cool or, you know, fit in with a group or something like that. But I think it certainly plays a part in people quitting cigarettes. I think it's shown in the numbers that, you know, most people that take up vaping find it successful because it does, I guess, mimic the feeling of smoking. You're being able to, you know, draw in the vapor, all the different devices and the way you can change the airflows and pods and so forth. So, yeah, I think it's a really successful way of quitting smoking. Flavors are unbelievable, but as I said, I wouldn't take up vaping solely because it's there. I think it's there for a reason, and that reason is to get people to stop smoking. And I think we need to probably hit on how bad smoking is for you. You know, I think everyone knows now that, you know, smoking kills. And yeah, look, I think vaping is 100% healthy. I don't. Not personally. I don't think anything you're
anything you're consuming that isn't natural, like eating or drinking.
Exactly. It's not a
lot of it is, I mean, people will go, oh, it's 100% better, and it's like, well, it's not 100% better. The problem that you've got is there's obviously, don't get us wrong, I agree it'll be much better for you than physically smoking. 100%. But there's not. I don't think there's enough long-term research, because I mean, probably how long of like people smoking cigarettes? How long has that been a thing? Since like
100%.
Like 1900s. Before that, you had like people smoking pipes and all that sort of stuff. So you've got over a century of knowledge of what this is, what it does, and you've got decades and decades of research. Whereas, I mean, you've got what, 15 years that vaping's been a thing, if that.
Really?
Yeah, it's in that 10 to 12 year mark. I think is, you know, it's been prominently around. Obviously, I think at the start it was very markets, like, so you go to your local markets and stuff like that. Probably the last 10 years, you've had your sort of vaping brick and mortar shops where, or your your vape shops. Let's just go with vape shops because for viewers that don't vape, it'll be easier. But you have a shop where you can go to and actually buy products and look at products, and yeah, it's another market to come from being non-mainstream to is mainstream. But if you walk down the street with a vaporizer now, vape, people don't look at you like, well, what's he doing, that guy? Is there drugs in that? Or...
Is that a car exhaust in his mouth? What?
or the other bit is if you're in the car and you're vaping, people don't pull up at the lights like, is his car on fire? is he broken down? Like, they realise that you're vaping. You still get people question and, you know, well, what's that? And but again, if you've ever gone from smoking to vaping, you know how much better you actually feel. You can feel the difference yourself. And yeah, as I said, I'm not going to say it's some foolproof. I vaped for close to 2.5 years.
Were you a big smoker before that?
Yeah, about anywhere from sort of 40, 50 cigarettes a day. Maybe a little bit more.
Jesus.
40
to 50 a day.
Son.
Jesus.
You
might want to go to like a chiropodist or something if you're smoking that much. You might end up with cancer of the foot, putting them out that much.
So, I just but again, I smoked because I enjoyed it. It was just an enjoyment. And I find myself, it's almost like when I get back on the vape, again, it only takes a couple of days, and I'm sort of like, flavors hit me, I'm sweet, and that's it. Like, I sort of say to my wife, every time I quit, I'm like, first 2 days are the hardest. After that,
that cloudy, cakey goodness.
Sort of a walk in the, it's a walk in the park, really. It all comes down to, like, ultimately, I'm just someone that always has to have something in my hands. I'm not someone that'd just sit at the back and look at the sun and be like, if I'm out the back, then I've got my phone or I've got a book or I've got something and I'm doing something. I don't just sit there. So it's the same as smoking. If I'm not smoking, then I need to have something I'm doing. So I'm either, chewing gum or vaping or drinking an energy drink or usually eating.
So how have
as my chat like to say,
how have the perceptions of it changed then? Again, I would never smoked. So like for me, it came around. It was tech, so I've always thought it was a bit cool. I've tried people's vapes. I've absolutely see what the difference is. But yeah, like how's the perception changed? Did it start off like good? Did it start off bad? Has it got better? Has it got worse over the years? Like, what's been the crack with like vape? Because this is like a area of the world I have absolutely, I'm gonna say zero interest, but not exactly true. Because I think
it's got better. Mm-hmm. I think it's certainly been a little bit more accepted.
Zero knowledge is what I was gonna say there. Zero knowledge. I've got zero knowledge in this world.
Yeah.
I think the main thing accepted. Is you get a lot of. We'll go with the alliteration. You've got a lot of sofa scientists who like to put their sort of 50 pence in the hat, and it's like, oh, this is, well, what's this? They'll look at the liquid and they'll be like, this has got propylene glycol in. That doesn't sound good. And it's like, what's that? It's like that thing where like the guy's like, oh yeah, dihydrogen monoxide is in this and in that, and obviously dihydrogen monoxide is just the technical term for H2O, which is water. If someone sees the name of a chemical and is like, that's bad, and it's like, well, propylene glycol is a vegetable extract. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like the problem.
It's in your candy bars. So if you go down to your local supermarket and buy a Mars bar or you buy a Snickers bar, the same product is found in there, but no one.
Yeah, but obviously. If they took the time to look into that, they'd still not mention that anyways because it doesn't fit with their narrative. I think a lot of the time they just want to argue the toss just for the case of arguing the toss. It's like, shut up.
Oh look, and I've had the same comments. You get the still gonna kill you. It's still gonna look. Nicotine is there's a big skeptical thing around nicotine, I guess, is that nicotine doesn't necessarily kill you. It contains like caffeine. It's certainly an addictive product.
Well, it's the tar that's in
No.
the cigarettes that kills you, isn't it? Or am I incorrect
Correct.
there?
So, no. Yeah, you're definitely there. And the other, range of chemicals and everything else that are shoved in that.
It's the nicotine that
No
makes it
ingredient.
addictive. Is that right?
Yeah. The nicotine is, and that's why most vapors will add nicotine to their e-juice, because that's where the craving is from. Mm-hmm. So all you're basically eliminating are, the tar and obviously the range of chemicals that shit for your lungs. In saying that, you're still replacing them with a product that necessarily isn't founded to be great for your lungs. There's no. We could be here in 20 years and it could come out that it's worse. The reports coming out at the moment of all these popcorn lungs and Asbar lungs or whatever else they want to put names on these stupid things that are coming out, but none of them are proven. This is not a proven fact. Like, one person's battery blows up in their vape and burns his leg, and the world loses their...
That happens with mobile phones,
though. Go and have a look at Samsung. Samsung are one of the biggest mobile phone makers in the world, and they released a Note, and it was blowing up all over the joint. So, hi, Samsung.
The Note 7. Well, the thing is, though, I mean, a lot of it, what you'll find is, I mean, from research and that type of stuff, the two main factors people go, oh, well, that could blow up in your pocket, and it's like, well, no, it won't. It's like, well, how do you know? And it's like, because the insulative wrap that I've got on my batteries, I've looked at it, it's maintained, and if you look in most cases where that's actually happened, it's specifically mech mods that happens with. So your ordinary mod where you just chuck the batteries in, screw the tank on the top, they're not the ones that predominantly blow up.
What's a mech mod?
It basically, it's so. Wait, you've got. So well, what Mullet's got? So that's not.
Mine's regulated.
It's a similar sort of construction.
Mine's legal.
I know. So basically, this has a chip in it. So you'll see. I don't know if it'll show on the screen, but it basically will tell me what wattage I'm vaping at, what my coil's registering at, so forth and so on. When I fire this, if there is a fault with the coil, it won't fire. It'll just literally stop it in its way. And mods have come these regulator mods have come so far in the fact that the one I'm using at the moment, you can put the batteries in any way you want. You don't have to put negative on negative, positive on positive. You can just slap the batteries in whichever way you feel, and you go. It used to be the same as putting your batteries in your remote control for your TV. You had to put your positive on positive and negative on negative. Back mods have some of them do, but it's very minimal. I guess safety things. You basically have a battery you put in, you press a button underneath, powers the button. There's no chip. It's just all by contact of the battery. And the coil heating up to create the vapor. So again, it all comes down to maintaining. You maintain your PC so it runs well. You put antivirus on your PC so it doesn't break down or get anything.
Actually, most antiviruses do more harm than good. I just give it a scan every once in a while.
But same as your batteries. Like, in my batteries now, if I just have a quick look. Yeah, they're a plug here. But like, these are re-wrapped. They don't come in ODB sort of wraps. Mm-hmm. But you should re-wrap your batteries as soon as they get a nick. So as soon as you can see a nick on your battery.
So is that like a special battery, or is it just one that you can buy off the tinterwebs?
These are 20.
You'd either get them from like an actual sort of vape shop or online. Because I mean, from looking at a camera, you don't really get a reference of the size. I'd say it's so. If you look at like your average Duracell battery, you've got like the bit that's sort of orangey bronze. On a AA battery, they're about that much longer in length and a bit thicker. Mm. Like the sort of girth difference is probably from like a a AAA battery to a AA battery, but obviously on the larger side from a AA battery. So they are a bit bigger.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So what about pricing for these then, boys? Like, what's the pricing been like as the time it's come out? Like, obviously I see e-vaping shops everywhere now, so that can only mean that prices have come down. But what's like an entry cost for the? Oh, really? The way around?
Supply and demand. More people want it.
Yeah, prices have gone up drastically. You know, especially out here in Australia. I don't vape Australian. I think this is from America. I sort of vape Tasia, which is an American juice, and they have sort of premium juice labels. Then you have your mid tiers. Then you have your, you know, in vape store juices, which they'll mix with their own concentrates, which are still pretty good. But it all comes down to how much time is spent on the recipes. No different than buying a Mars bar, the original Mars bar, and then buying a knockoff. You know, hit or miss. Some knockoffs are better than the originals, but most of the time you can't beat the original. So it just depends.
Plug.
You what? Sorry.
So that's what I mean.
An Asda branded caramel bar.
Ooh, hey, get you.
Sort of like if you go to look, some people go to McDonald's and they get their Coke and they like it mixed with the soda water, and you know, I call it watered down Coke, and then
it is.
But can you really replicate it to a can of Coke? There is a taste difference. So it all comes down to preference on taste, and that's why there's so many different juice flavors, and you got your menthols, and it has come a long way in what you can buy. But it definitely has come with a price, and then it's become worse now that it's all regulated. So shops must be licensed. You must have, you know, government provisions. You know, your stores must be set up with blocked out windows. It's pretty much worse than an actual tobacconist or where you buy your cigarettes from. Shops have to be, you know, you can't just walk in. They have to be push buttons, so you must get to the door, press a button, and then be let in to the shop. You can't just, or out here in Australia, you can't just walk in the door. They're all secured now. No products on display. Everything must be behind black cupboards. You can't. Yeah, everything is sort of regular. So coming with that, if shops have to put money into their business, then the money's certainly going to come from somewhere, and you can only cut off your profit margin so much.
Do they do that in the UK scene, Andrew? I know they do that for the cigarettes and stuff like that, and some of the booze behind the counter. But do they do that for the actual vape, like the actual stuff?
You go if you go. So like, I mean, that to me sounds mad that you've got to be like buzzed into a shop and all that sort of stuff. Like, yeah, you could literally you could walk into any vape shop here, and no buzzing of buttons or anything like that. You just literally go up, open the door, go in. Everything's still glass displays, so you can see everything like on display. All of the shelving and stuff like that, and it's. But I mean, obviously, it's very, 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 very different culture in Australia, because isn't it something daft like $40 for cigarettes or something like that, isn't it?
Oh God!
So we're for a pack of the cigarettes out here. You're looking at about $40, and then again, it's the same as juice. So, but then use a probably blow. So for 100 and
that's double the price of cigarettes here, at least.
How much juice is in this bottle? So 100 ml bottle of Vape Tasia out here, about $37.
Mm-hmm.
Bottle of 100 ml juice. So I don't know what that's like over there for you guys.
I mean, obviously it depends. We've got all the premium, like, well, they say a premium, but I mean, it's been a fair while since I've been into any shop like that. But you're looking about 20 quid, but they're like short fills, so like 20 to 25 quid for a short fill, and then you're looking
about 37 Australian.
Yeah, so it's about the same.
Yeah. In and around the same sort of thing, but they're for like, say, they're like 100 mils in that sort of sense. So 100 mil.
But if you'd like to use a cost equation of how much you save by vaping, which I'm guessing you would have come to at some point, bottles lasted me close to 2 weeks, and it was $37.
That would have been one day.
I was spending
cigarette.
roughly around $200 a week on smoking. If you take 37 off $400, tell me who's...
It is a bit like PC gaming in that aspect, where it's got a higher upfront cost, but the money you save on the games, on the subscriptions, on XYZ, adds up in the long run.
I guess you... Look, the better the juice you're vaping, better the taste, better chance you have of not wanting to go back. If you go and get a juice that you don't necessarily like and doesn't suit with your palate, then you're vaping on it, you go, I don't really like this. Very, very conscious to be like, if a mate has a cigarette, you go, oh yeah, I'll have one of them. It's very hard for me to really love a cigarette when I've got some, you know, beautiful vanilla custard that is like having a spoonful of vanilla custard in your mouth towards a cigarette.
Yeah.
It's very easy for me to go, oh, I'll have this, thank you, than that. So, but in saying that, you still do have moments that are very tough, and you know, especially being a Warzone streamer, you certainly have moments where you're like, but I find, yeah, I guess that was my big push to go back to vaping. So when I first come back into streaming, I was actually still smoking, and I.
The 50 or 60 a day came in.
Yeah, well, that, I guess, and the fact too that it was very difficult on stream. So I'd be here streaming, yeah, blah blah blah, and then I'd be here on stream going to the side, having a dart of my smoke, and then it actually got worse. I was actually smoking less, really. Smokes were just burning away next to me on an ashtray because I'm trying to sort of have a cigarette because I love coming to vaping. It's back to vaping because it's so friendly on the streamer sense. No one comes into stream and like, oh my god, vaping. There are so many vapors in the gaming scene, so it's sort of like, in some sense it might have been a boost because I've had more people asking me, oh, what flavor are you vaping? Like that might be a conversational breaker of, oh, what flavor you got in your vape?
Yeah.
But as I said, it's a lot more convenient. It's a lot more easier. I have a quick drag on my vape. And loading into Gulag, it's not as easy to sit there and have a cigarette off camera, and then you're loading into Gulag and you're realizing, oh crap, I've got to play.
Spend a lot of time there, do you?
Yeah, well, mate, with a 0.41 KD, you don't become the #1 Gulag player with a mullet for no reason. So that is that's my claim to fame. You got to be good at something.
Sure.
But
I'm sure Hexy was saying that, Matt. I think because I don't even know how to check my KD, but I'm sure he was saying that mine's like 0.6.
Yeah, but you've got like 10 kills though, so like don't read too much into that.
Yeah.
Oh come on.
If you play 40 hours a week, your KD might not be 0.6.
I don't even know what he's on about. Anyways, there was one time where him and Rue got absolutely dusted, and then there was two blokes that absolutely blew away with an RPD.
But in saying
You
that,
played the way I wish I could with like LMGs, just loving your life. Like I've started playing that in season 4. I fucking love it. But go on, Mullet.
I don't think your KD as a content creator really nothing. It doesn't.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't.
You could have a high KD but really shit banter, and no one will want to watch you anyway.
I'm not gonna mention channels, but I'll give an example. Obviously, I've researched the industry I'm in, and I keep a close look on other channels.
Mm-hmm.
There are players in my own scene with humongous KDs. Like, I'm talking like 4s, 5s, 6s. I'm matching for viewership. That tells me that you either great at the game, you're great as a personality, and you've got to be able to engage with the people and keep them interested in other ways. And as I said, us Aussies like to take the piss out of ourselves, and I'm happy to take the piss out of myself, and that's why I stream title as the #1 Gulag player. I spend time there, so I'm going to be the best that I can be out there, and celebrate, and I'll post highlight clips of my 9 Gulag kills on a stream and own that. And I think that's what you got to do: own who you are and how you play and what you're good at, and let the other crap slide to the side. And
well, we're going to be rotating right back into the that into news announcements and rumours in the NAR section. But obviously, we quite briefly talked about it. We're in the PC talk section now of the podcast. Now, we have basically talked about you being on console and wanting to move to PC. So you're going to be running a two PC setup, which I think is quite a cool idea. I'll probably end up using Nicole's PC as a streaming PC as well once I've got it set up and I'm running. But tell me, why two? Why not one big ass computer and two instead of having two medium level specs? What's the thinking behind that, friend?
Look, I just come to the strategy that I thought that if I separate the two, then it's just less load on one. And that simple fact that if I ever decide that I don't want to stream anymore, and I haven't got it all in one tower, so I can just offload that other tower with the streaming compatibility and go, well, here's some of my coin back at some point, and I can have my gaming PC to continue on just gaming. But I just think having them in one, if something goes wrong, then it's all in one. It's just all there, and I guess too, just having that option of being able to use the PC separately too. I think having them separate is convenient, probably a little bit more costly, I guess, if you're separating them. But
one of your benefits as well is you don't have to tab out of the game to then like interact with chat or type into chat. If you've got a totally separate computer, you've got obviously your gaming PC here, and then obviously your chat PC here or your streaming PC here. You can be playing the game, and rather than having to tab out and totally lose the game entirely off the screen, you can just quickly jump across. There you go.
I think it's very similar to what I'm running at the moment. So I've got obviously monitor in front of me here, PlayStation down below, and the laptop is separate.
Where it belongs.
It's just to the side. It has all the chat on it. I can see everything else. And again, as I said, I'm pretty crafty. I've got Discord, so I can run Discord through PlayStation. I can play with all the PC guys on Discord and still be on PlayStation and stream. And I've got stream picking up Discord, and it was a nightmare. Don't get me wrong, and please don't get me to explain how I did it, because I didn't do it all myself. But it took a lot of mucking around. We got like virtual cables that are sort of on the PC that do the job of like a real cable, but there's no cable. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all that I just didn't understand. I didn't even realize you could put a cable on your PC that's like a virtual cable. Like that just blew my mind. But I think it's what I've already got technically. I have two setups as far as I'm concerned. I'm running PlayStation and the monitor, and then I'm running the secondary streaming PC to the side in the laptop. I just thought, well, if I'm going to change, I don't want to go to something that's going to make me feel different. Where if I go to that dual setup, it's going to be like sitting down where I am now, except for the fact that I'm going to have to update drivers and all this other crap that is going to be fun. But
just hopefully you won't have a case of Trojan's PC where to fix it just needs to go out for a drive. So if you can just avoid that, you'll be alright. So all will be good.
Can you message me what you've got so I can get the opposite, please?
Well, that means you'll have to get a Radeon graphics card and an Intel CPU.
He's joking. Please don't go Radeon. But yeah, his computer was broken. Drove it down mine. It worked perfectly fine. Still don't know to this day what caused the issue. So.
User?
Pardon?
It wasn't the user, was it?
I don't think it was, because it's plugged it in and it worked straight away, so... strange one.
Did you plug it in?
Actually, yes, I did. My magic
hand. There you
hand.
go, then. Possibly could have been a...
So when you think about going...
I'm not going there.
With it cannot be user error, because the day before it was working fine and nothing had changed. Do you know what I mean? I hadn't unplugged anything, I haven't moved anything.
I think he's took that to heart, Mullet.
That's the thing, though. So, like, I mean... The main benefit of a console is you plug it in and it consoles. Do you know what I mean? It just does. Whereas like with a PC, to give you an idea of the stupidest thing the stupidest problem that I've ever encountered with a computer. So one of my friends, he got a computer. He downloaded the Rockstar game launcher, and he was trying to play GTA.
Is this the friend that didn't follow my advice?
Yes.
Okay.
Would not work at all. Every time he tried to launch the game, popped up with an error message, and he was like, "I've tried everything. I've tried uninstalling. I've tried reinstalling. And he was like, I can't get it to work." And like literally, because I was straight away. I was like, right, I'll look at forums. We'll have a look. We'll see what the patter is.
That's how I fix things.
I goes to him, right, do us a favour, close the launcher. He's like, right. I was like, unplug your headphones. He's like, what? He's like, unplug your headphones from the computer. He's like, what the fuck's that going to do? I was like, just do it. So he unplugged his headphones. I was like, right, open the games launcher and try and play the game. Click play on the game loaded straight away. So the game wouldn't launch because his headphones were plugged in. Like, you just get some stupid shit with computers.
Oh, COD's doing this little episode at the minute on PC where it won't run on full screen mode. Like, it'll be there, I can click it, but it'll flash straight back to my desktop. It will not run unless I've got all 3 screens turned on. Don't know how, don't know why, but if I go one screen mode, won't open. It'll be there, I can see it's there.
Breaking announcement, Mr Mullet staying on PlayStation. All the best, guys.
No,
I'm joking.
These things are sometimes, are often caused by user error. It's just finding out what the user error is.
I sort of watched on launch of Season 4, and I was talking to some of the PC guys, and they were like updating stuff, and just things weren't going right, and it's sort of lovely at the fact that my laptop is beefed up as like it's
a little beefcake.
Yeah, it's good, bro. It's good. Like it's running plenty of RAM and it's good.
One bit of advice that I'll give you for Call of Duty, and I'm pretty sure Andrew's going to give you this advice as well. And I'm actually going to nick his joke for this actually. Like, make sure that you have a big hard drive. Because every time there's like a skin update or a balance patch, it brings like a 10 gig update. Like, it's just why? Like, okay, so
that's not my joke. My joke's better than that.
Go on.
So my analogy of it is, new gun comes out. You need not my microphone. We're here. New gun comes out. You want extended mags for that gun? 90 gig update. It's like sound. 90 gig update for 3 extra bullets. Moist.
But yeah, man, just kind of make sure you have hard drive space and try and boot the game off an SSD if you can, because you'll be in that warm up lobby the quickest. It's absolutely mint. I've took it a step.
So I think I've been. Oh, so wait. Not good with the names of hard drives and so forth. So there's solid state hard drives.
Yep, SSDs.
And then there's also
disk drives.
Yeah. So I'm being told to get both.
Yes.
2.
Yes. Start with, get 2.
So not necessarily in the streaming tower, but in the gaming tower, having 2, and then however.
So the way I run it
smartly,
is a bit overkill at the minute. The way I do it, so. Because I record, obviously. So I've got my Windows that boots off the SSD. I've got me footage that gets sent to the big hard drive. And I've got my game, which runs off a NVMe drive, like on an M.2 slot, which is like basically a super fast SSD. Like an SSD, there's an SSD cable to motherboard. Whereas an NVMe drive, it's the device plugged directly into the motherboard. And so as a result, it's a lot faster. But for running Windows, it's not that much faster. Wait, it is a bit, but not that much. Whereas if you put COD on it, it's like, boom, super quick. I put in quicker than Hexene. He's using, I think, Octane. So it's like, kind of goes to tell you.
I think the easiest way to explain, like, and I've literally just thought of this on the spot, but the easiest way to explain the difference between memory sort of things. Just think of a classic PlayStation, like a PlayStation 1.
That's one, bro.
An M.2, think of that as just a memory card that is in the PlayStation. An SSD, think of a cable coming from the PlayStation memory card slot with a memory card plugged into the end, and then think of a hard disk drive, an HDD. Think of that as a cable coming from the memory card slot to a separate little thing that has a disk in it, and to save to it, obviously it spins and reads and blah 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 blah. That's the easiest way to explain it.
Yeah.
One from an M.2 going M.2 SSD. HDD, there's just a slight bit more sort of latency based on connections and shit.
But obviously, hard drives you get much more value per gig, whereas
Yeah,
on
I think
NVMe, you don't get
that's
that
the
value, but you
benefit
get the
that
speed.
I'm glad that I did my research into streaming with a PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Also glad that I've now more or less got multiple opinions. My first reach out to a PC building company were like, yep, just do this and whack it all in one tower and you'll be sweet. I went, oh yes, I'm streaming. He goes, oh, don't worry about that. I don't know much about that, but don't worry, just get this and you'll be sweet. And I was like...
That fills me full of confidence.
So I read some reviews, and I'm not going to name them, and I went, and then it was a bunch of streamers that were like, if you're a streamer, don't take this advice. And I'm like, wow. So that pushed me to go out and start sourcing secondary opinions. And best way is, look guys, if you're out there and you're going to start streaming, you're going to go on a PC, best way is hit up streamers that are on PC. Ask them what they've got. Ask them what's working and what's not. Then when you find out what's not working for them, I'll find the best,
or just buy an
upgrade from
R9 3900X and and an RTX 3090 Super and just spend 5-10 grand on a computer and just be done with it. But apart from that,
Question though.
Go on
so
then.
if you've already for Mullet, if you've already got a laptop that's doing what you need for a stream, why go down the route of building a new tower when you could put that extra money into your gaming rig?
Good question. Ultimately, it's a very good laptop, and it does very well. And I basically run on about 15% CPU. When I'm in full stream, I'm using about 15% of my CPU.
Man's got a good point there, like.
Which is really good, but I do certainly have concerns of how the laptop, with its cooling and everything else, it was never ever meant to be a streaming laptop. It was never built as that. So I'm wondering its cooling and everything else, how it'll hold up over time. Obviously, 3 months in, it's going well, but
all the heat,
how's it going to be?
All the inputs getting put through the Elgato though, which I'm assuming is a USB connection.
Is HDMI.
That'll be where all the heat's generated. So with the Elgato, that'll be doing all the processing. All the computer's doing is just taking the image, which is the point.
And
of the
I also
card.
do want to get away from. I do want to get away from Elgato.
Oh, now
Elgato
do
is
explain
not-
this.
But it's dirty. It's a $279 product that, again, captures from your PlayStation and plugs into your laptop and put into Streamlabs or Stream Elements or whoever you're using as your broadcasting software. But with the Elgato, you must run a chat link. Now, it'd be nice to show you viewers that don't use a chat link. So, give you guys an example. This is what a chat link is. The chat link goes into your controller, and then you have an off port which goes to your headset, and the other goes into the Elgato, which captures your party chat or your game. So basically, your chat back to your party. Now those cables are about $20. They have a life expectancy. They have a life expectancy of about 3 streams, maybe 4, maybe 5 if you're lucky. They might last a week because they're just cheaply built. Obviously you're moving around where you're playing, so that cord obviously does get moved, and it's one wire, just one wire, and that's if you're lucky, if it's not faulty when you get it out of the packet. Now, yeah, you have a warranty and you can take it back and exchange them over and over and over. It's cool, but it's not very convenient. As a streamer, you're not looking to go back into the shop every second, every week or two. As I said, that is very cheaply built. Now, there is some options. You can build your own cable, you can buy it, but to replicate a Chatlink cable, and I've had a look into this, probably need another 4 cables, all plugged into each other, which then you're then
It's going to cause interference.
One of those cables, out of that, you've already got to, like I already have a ground loop that runs through my setup anyway, so I have a ground loop that connects into the Elgato that then the Chatlink plugs into, because I'm a strange one. I play with my controller plugged in on charge. I believe that I don't like a wireless playing, so I play on a standardized DualShock 4 controller, but I just feel, be in my head, I don't know, but I feel that there is input change. If it's not plugged in and I'm playing wirelessly, I don't know. I just feel that it's different. The controller operates different. It's losing charge. I don't know. Could be in my head. It could be just a thing in Mr Mullet's head, but I don't know. I just feel odd. So if I plug my controller in going through Elgato, you actually get a sound of like a fan.
Yeah. No. Yeah. The interference.
So the interference. So you have to ground loop out. So I sort of got a little ground loop device, which is just from one of our electrical shops here. Handy ass. It's great. It stops a lot of interference. Especially because you have all your cabling to the side, and then obviously you've got Wi-Fi modems and everything else. Any interference now sort of just stays off stream, which is kept. Again, I get the same stream output most PC players are getting. You can read all my. I get a lot of people playing that you can't see your players that you're playing with, like in your party down the bottom in your left-hand corner, it gets blurry. Mine's usually crystal clear, so you can read the players and everything else. So the quality's there, but it's just there's a lot of buggerizing around with it. Then you come into the hassle of capturing gameplay, that type of stuff, because you're streaming from the console. You can't necessarily capture your gameplay from Elgato.
Mm-hmm.
Streamlabs itself, so you got to start looking, and just very frustrating. And I just don't know if the laptop will hold up long term. So my view was, laptop had a purpose in life before streaming. It's just sat itself down here on the desk as a temporary fix, and I was just lucky that when I brought the laptop, the guy said to me, "Do you want to upgrade the RAM?" Because we've got a special at the moment, we would double the RAM that's in the laptop for like $60, and I was like, "Yeah, let's go, let's do it." And I think it come with 4 gig to start with. It come with 4 gig memory to start with, and then he upgraded it to 8 or 9 or something. 8, I think it was, doubled it. Yeah.
What a guy! What a guy!
As I said, it makes it run nice, but I'm just worried about its performance. Unless Andrew thinks that. Then we might need to talk. We might need to talk in this more depth at another time about maybe.
To be fair, with PC builds and stuff like that, I mean, I'm not the person to speak to. Like, of us two, Craig's the computer wizard. Like, he's. I mean, I've got tits, and he's built more computers than I've had hot dinners. So, I mean, I literally, because for the most part, because the most confusing part for me, I mean, memory and stuff like that's fairly self-explanatory. Once you've had a computer for a while, you're like, all right, it clicks. But when you're first getting a PC set up, and someone's like, "Oh, do you get like a GTX 1070? Do you get a 2080 Super? Do you get this CPU? Do you get that CPU?" And I'm just sat here thinking, all I want is the game to. I want something that's slightly overpowered, so it's a bit future-proof, and I want a good frame rate. I'm not bothered about. And I used this analogy on the last stream. On the last podcast. I'm not bothered about how detailed the code is. I'm just bothered about when the wind blows. I want it to flap very smoothly. That's all I care about. Fuck everything else.
Well, there's plenty of wind in season 4 on Verdansk, so.
Well, indeed. But no, the only thing that we were unsure of was the case, so we took him in for a case, and he ended up buying a full PC then and there. So Oops.
Beautiful.
But yeah, it you know, like when you obviously feel free to reach out to myself as well if you want any other opinions.
No,
'Cause
sounds
it's
good.
good to have a different range of opinions, and from their
100%.
opinions, you can kind of come to a consensus of
I think
where you want to be.
from country to country, this information changes too. So if you speak to someone in Oz, they're talking about what's available here. They don't necessarily go, what can we order on the international market? They just go, what have we got here?
Well, pricing and
Where if I
availability is
talk
a
to
whole
someone
different
like
factor as
yourself,
well, isn't it?
availability in the UK might be a bit better on this part, and you go, well, mate, this is the way you want to. Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, just in the sense of it is, you might go, well,
Do you
yeah,
live in the
availability
US? No. Unlucky. Kind of how availability
But
goes.
I think that's for everything, isn't it?
I mean, you can get some. I think AMD parts are somewhere in Asia. So there's that. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just what sort of, and you unfortunately with a lot of computer shops too, they have good relationships with certain suppliers, and then you're going to get pushed that way. It's no different than going to buy a TV. If that retailer has an association with Samsung, then you're probably going to be pushed to the Samsung TVs, not the Sonys that are pushed in the corner. And I think that's the same in the PC world, that PC shops are associated with brands, and when you go there, they go, "Oh no, this is the best graphics card you can get."
It's a bit different in the
Probably
PC
not.
sphere. It's the brands that are associated with the streamers, the content creators, the tech YouTube channels. The brands associated with them are the brands that do really well typically. So we're quite fortunate in the tech scene. Our content creators in that sphere do value performance and value as opposed to money in their own pockets for sponsorship deals. So we are quite fortunate in that regard. But yeah, that's kind of how the market goes. Elgato, that's a prime example. All the streamers who were on console were using that, be it sponsored or not. And then the first brand you think of when you want a device like that is, oh, Elgato's a thing, isn't it?
Well, it's
Just
sort
kind
of
how it goes.
When I first looked into it, I went to Facebook and I thought, before I started buying anything, I went to Facebook and created a page because I thought, well, I'm going to have a look at what Facebook recommend. Page 1, purchase Elgato. Like, if you are on console, purchase. So it's almost like it's already there. I've since seen that there are other options, but then again, you may not get the same features, you may not get the same reliability, but you can cut some cost and, so forth. As I said, it's, got a mate that started streaming, he brought a webcam that was quarter of the price of mine. Mm-hmm. He's probably on the same quality.
Yeah.
So hit and miss. It's just.
Well, that kind of takes us into the next area. Wait, it doesn't, but I'm going to make it go in the next area anyway. On the
Put it in dry.
Put it in dry. So I got a new mouse mat. It's a lighty up one, RGB one, really cool. It's a Corsair thing. Joe had to go on my PC last week. Said it was awful because the mouse mat was tripe. So I was like, right, okay, I'll buy a new mouse mat then. Did, and then now it's got flashy lights on. So yay.
Very nice.
So apart from that, not much going on in the tech world at the moment. Rue got a new set of headphones. Got himself some of these. Really like these headphones. Cheap, but really, really, really good quality. I'll say cheap. They're still like about 50, 60 quid, but yeah, really good.
That is cheap.
That's cheap.
Yeah. 120 Australian, give or take.
Does Steel Series actually make anything in that budget?
Oh god, don't get me started on Steel Series.
Be careful what you say with Steel Series.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I have no regrets. Like these, like
I've got mine's an Arctis Pro wireless. So I think mine was 300 quid. Like the mic at first I was like, well, the mic's good because I was just looking at like it being louder, but the quality was shit. So then I ended up getting obviously me bit.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to add, but just beware when you go to Elgato. your headset has to be wired.
Hey, when are we ever going to go to El Gato here?
So your lovely,
Do you know where you are?
Wireless, a lovely wireless headset now stuck to my flipping head with a cable. Was very sad for me. I love being wireless, so I'm looking forward to getting back to wireless headset on PC too.
I mean, the audio quality of these was like up in the region of those headphones, so it's like, why would I pay like
100%
loads more when it's only slightly better audio quality? It's like,
because treat yourself.
I actually believe that. I do believe that's one of the markets that's actually booming at the moment. Is the competitiveness of headsets on the market?
Absolutely.
In price effective ranges, you can I reckon 3 years ago you had to spend a couple $100 on a headset because everything else was just shit. It was just like trash. It was, you wouldn't hear footsteps, things would be echoey. It was just
all over
now
the shop.
you can.
Yeah.
Now you can spend $100 and get a relatively good entry level headset.
Really good. Really good headset.
Which will get good sound.
Really good headset in that regard. So in the news announcements, in Rumours section, we'll start off with an announcement. The announcement is that we are approaching 400 subscribers on the Shadows Reign A1A YouTube channel. Thank you all so much for the support. Quite
well
hard
done, boys.
Quite hard to grow on YouTube. So the fact that you guys are making it happen, it's absolutely brilliant. So the next target after that's going to be that 500, and then just get to that point where YouTube starts looking after you. So yeah, we're getting there. The next up on the list as well is in the news announcements and rumors in the good old Yee is that season 4 has dropped, and there were big changes. The biggest one for me, in my opinion, is the fact that Ghost is now no longer a crutch pick. It is possibly being replaced by Restock, which is a strategy I've always liked, especially in the early days of the channel, and now that I'm actually using it, again, my KD is going up again, the same way as what I did last time, so really can't wait to get stuck into that meta. Is there any other Season 4 changes that have really stuck out for you, Mr. Mullet?
Yeah, the nerf.
To what?
Yeah, the nerf to the Street Sweeper.
Yeah, right. Nice.
Bye-bye, Street Sweeper.
Right. No,
hello.
I'm gonna end this right here for you, mate. Right, and I'm gonna burst your bubble. About 2 or 3 months ago. Oh, actually, it couldn't have been any longer. I think it would have been January. I made a video, which was the Jack 12 versus the Street Sweeper. Okay, the Jack 12 beat it in every single department. Every single department, it beat it in.
Yes.
But because the Street Sweeper was new, it got all the attention. No one thought about the Jack 12. Street Sweeper now gets nerfed. You know what still wasn't touched? Jack 12. And this is before you put its stupid ammo conversions on, like Dragon's Breath or the other one, the grenade rounds.
Explosive rounds.
You remember they released released that reactive camo for the Street Sweeper, alright?
Yeah.
And I tell you what, if I was rushed in a building by someone had that Street Sweeper. And that was the last thing you seen was that stupid ass glowing light on their Street Sweeper. So it was nice for me to land in there now, and I'm not seeing the Street Sweeper as much.
Well, look, mate, as is, that Street Sweeper nerf means nothing because the AA12 was always better before the AA12. It was always better. And now that the fact they've removed it, people just aren't giving it the time of day. AA12, Jack 12, like, if you've got people who are liking the Street Sweeper in your community, get them on that, and they'll find it's actually better. It's a little bit heavier, not as mobile, however, unreal, and it's drum fed as well, so it's like a magazine. So you're not sat.
And other than that, I think
I should. Right, who's next? Brilliant shotgun.
Well, I will definitely check that out.
Definitely. Absolutely.
And then other than that, I think that I'm not going to say it's level. I think it feels nice. The guns at the moment, there's, as I said, there's some OP guns.
The MG82 can be played around. It's not nice, but it can be played around. Like Finn LMG with Adverse Barrel, actually a strong counter to it. Scar H, now that's been had its almighty buff, that can stand up to it now. Fennec up close, always been able to stand up to it. Will stand up to it continually. So yeah,
like the SMG classes, I think that there's a nice range there.
Yeah.
You can run one or the other if you're a Bullfrog or a Mac-10 or the Fennec or the Cold
I'm liking
War.
the LMGs are going to become a thing again. Though not many people's using the restock, like LMGs have like an FMG inbuilt to them before you put the attachment on.
But I do feel the gameplay now has become slower.
It's become
I believe
slow.
Season 4.
It's become slower, but at the same time, there's more kills to be had for me because it suits my playstyle. So though it's slowed down, I get more kills. And I'm not camping either. I'm just shooting people through walls with me FMG Bruin.
Just feel that, because of that, LMG class being now the... I think everyone was looking at assault rifle classes, how you turn assault rifles to SMGs. There was a big period in Season 3 where people were trying to sort of the AK-47, you had the AK-47, the M13, what was the other one?
M4 would be nice.
AK-47.
Into N9.
The AUG, yeah. There were a few that you can turn into nice SMG. Now, they're not as quick as an SMG. They hit 10 times harder than an SMG, and if you are close to someone, nice. You will deplate them and knock them very, very quickly. I feel that now this, FMJ now has a very big part in the game for all this, shooting through walls. It's now almost like if you have a spare attachment, get it on. FMJ on
but you can only use it.
That's what I'm saying.
You can only use it on the Modern Warfare guns, though. So,
yes, but that's what I'm saying. So if you can put it on there, it's almost now beneficial too. And then do you start?
Massive,
I'm hearing
advantage.
people now. You're taking off a muzzle. Get that on there because it almost doesn't matter if they can hear you. They can't bloody see you. You're shooting through a wall, so it doesn't matter. They're not turning to their left looking at you. They can't see you.
What I like about the Scar as well, the Scar actually does punch walls a fair bit as well. You'll see like the M4 doesn't as much. Obviously the DMR got nerfed.
That's a change that's exciting.
But
I guess
the Scar has always had good wall punch potential, and now it's matched with a. Obviously, don't get us wrong. The Bruin in FMJ, it will melt any vehicle, and it will basically not have damage drop off through walls. But in terms of what has limited drop off damage through walls, Scar's up there. So really excited.
I don't mind this little satellites dropping out. I don't like the sound. The sound's annoying me. I do like the fact that you can secure one and get a loadout because it changes that theory of. What I don't like is that you secure the little satellite and then it shoots the bloody thing about 80 meters down the road, and there's a team standing 80 meters down the road and take your loadout or whatever. But as I said, there's been some. Could have been worse. That's what I'll say. I'll leave it at that. It could have been a worse Season 4.
Oh, I like this change. I like this change. I think
Season 3 was more of a letdown than what Season 4 has been.
It's a weird one because
I think Season 3...
I really enjoyed the stuff that was on the battlefield. Sorry, on the battlefield, fucking hell. On the Season 3 Battle Pass. I liked what was on it. I thought it was a good range of stuff on the Battle Pass. But the actual gameplay, it was... I know there wasn't a meta, which was good, and there was balance, but at the same time, it didn't have anything that was like, ooh. Like, it didn't have any... It had no flavour. It was just very bland. It was unseasoned. It was balanced, but it was okay. It wasn't exciting in any way.
It also wasn't hyped as much. See, Season 3...
Whereas
I was awake at 4 a.m.
Season 4, I believe, though, with Season 4, it, like, the gameplay has been tremendously overhauled in a very subtle way. So exciting. But the Battle Pass is wank. So they'll get it right between them. So, yeah, you're going to go into something there.
I love how they, look, especially for us content creators, okay, 100 level Battle Pass, 3 weeks for me. That.
Yeah.
Probably not even 3 weeks. I have 2.5 months, completely nothing.
Yeah.
Now, for the average Joe that plays 2 hours a day and jumps on after work and has a beer and plays, it's fine. It'll take him a month or two to get through the battle pass, and that's cool. That's good. Not for the content creators. For us, it loses its toll really quickly, and there's a lot of content creators out there that just pop the money straight off the bat. They don't worry about unlocking. They just buy the whole battle pass.
It's true. It's true.
So they can show the content to the creators, and I'm not one. I like to do it side by side, step by step. I think it's a cool little thing to unlock.
If there's something about the battle pass that I really want, I will put the hours in the game. And to be fair, I haven't actually completed a battle pass since season 6 in the Modern Warfare era, which is a shock. But...
See, where I think what I would like to see is the meta. So you're gonna have a gun like the new assault rifle. Yeah? Looks good. Seems to be hitting well off ground loot.
Yeah.
Seems to be hitting well off the ground loot. It's got good damage, good range, everything else. You unlock that at 31 in the battle pass.
Tier skip.
Level 100. Level 100 of the battle pass. You get a reactive outfit for your operator. Now,
which everyone's going to use.
Great. How mad will that be, sniping someone? As well put a target on his forehead for you. Like, you're going to see him. But my bit is, why not put one of these OP guns, as tier 100? I think you've got to have something.
Because then the problem with that is that the game then becomes pay to win, which we talked about a lot last week.
It's already Jim. Pay to win.
Fuck Jim.
So fuck Jim. Damn, Jim.
It's already
Clark.
already paid to win at a capacity. But I just think that there could be something that they could mix up with that. But as I said, season 3 was a major letdown. For a content creator, I got up at 4 a.m. in Australia, set up stream, on the Rebirth, blow up Rebirth or whatever it was, or set off the bombs in Verdansk and, the whole kit and caboodle. And load into Verdansk and see a really bright sun and salt mine. And what do you call it up the top? I never land. Anyway.
The array.
Not array. What's it? Right up the top, past the dam.
Oh, the summit.
Yeah.
The Overwatch, the summit. Yeah, the bridge. I don't even know where the dam is.
That's what we got. That's what we got. For a whole launch at 4 a.m., 7 a.m. when I had to get off to go to work, I was just like...
And on a PC perspective...
I was in the car.
I was just going to say, on a PC perspective, I had to change my filters again, which is a bit annoying, because they changed the filters. Instead of the game being a light green hue, it's now a dark hint. So I had to rework that. Bit of a bitch, but it's fine. I'm not bitter. I'm not sour. I'm not petty.
Where Season 4, as you said, has had that subtle... gameplay change, so it's not massive, it's not some crazy change, it's just little changes of how it's played and little changes like what guns are more going to be commonly carried by people, and you're still going to have there were still people carrying the DMR after its massive nerf.
That's had a little bit
if
of
you enjoy it
though. Yeah.
Then as I said, the Swiss now, if you have a look at the Swiss, you sit it next to the Car 98, they are right on each other. They weren't though, but now they are like, so the old Car 98 players almost tempted to like, ooh, do we have a go at the new dog? And that's what I'm saying. But again, I'm a Car 98 fan. I probably won't change. But there are people out there, and I like that little bit of change. I like that they've made
competition.
little. They haven't. Again, had to play it safe. After they broke everyone's hearts, thinking we were getting a new map in Season 3, and then the leaks come about 4 days before going, it's not there, and everyone knew, it was like, almost being told Christmas was off. Like, you're having a meat pie or a sausage roll on Christmas lunch, and you're not having your roast. Like, it was just shit. It was, and I don't think there was any war player that didn't think we were getting a new map.
Yeah.
They had almost sold the event at the leading.
This is
blowing
what
it
we're
up was
saying,
like,
man. They're great at hype, but they're
God.
shit at execution. They always have been and always will be. But
I
that's...
think they executed season 4 launch. Okay, it was okay.
It was okay. I was subtle,
Okay.
but I love it. But yeah, time is cracking on now. So it is time for everyone's favorite. Did Yee Kna? Now, before we started streaming this morning, this evening for you, we were just having a little bit of a chat, and you seemed very confident that you were going to be winning this week's episode of Did Yee Kna. Now, you're kind of up against Trojan. If you're up against Hexy and me, maybe you would have a chance. But Trojan comes out with some cracking facts of his own. So I know that mine's going to be the shittest one in comparison. So I'm going to start off, boys. And I'm going to start off with, did Yee Kna that you could grow plants and crops with the soil found on the moon and on Mars? Did Yee Kna?
I did not know that, actually.
I didn't.
You didn't? No. How fucking whack's that? You could grow
That's pretty crazy.
Innit? Like that, when I read that, that blew my mind. Obviously, you would need a fertilizer,
That's pretty
but
good.
providing that there was a fertilizer there, if you sprayed some fertilizer on the soil there and planted yourself some seeds, plants
Moved my confidence level to 9 now. You've brought my confidence level down a bit.
That's brought your confidence level down.
Just a little bit. Just a touch, alright? Not a lot.
So yeah, that absolutely blew my fucking mind when I saw
Cool.
when I read up on that one. So
That is.
yeah, I drew last night. Was like, what you watching? Oh no, just some science shit. Like researching the fact of the day. Didn't tell him what I was doing. Just watching some science stuff, mate. It's fine. It's fine. And I'm sat there like,
Don't worry about it. Stay away from it.
we're gonna move on to Trojan next. Trojan.
Yes.
Did you know that in the 17th century, a bloke made a piano out of cats?
Now this is the bit where you kind of elaborate on that, because what the
So-
fuck?
so,
Is he in
like,
jail by any chance? Did he get locked up?
so 17th century, the guy, what's his name? Athanasius Kircher, German bloke, obviously. Like, so the instrument was called a Katzenklavia. And it was basically, you had three there was so like baskets. There was like baskets at the front with cats in them, and basically it gets worse.
He didn't kick the baskets, did he?
No, so basically worse than that, mate. Worse than that. So basically, he found cats that have different pitches of voice. And how the instrument was played, it looks like a conventional piano, but when you hit a key, it lifts a thing up with a nail in it that went into the cat's tail to make it speak.
That's so cool.
There
And I love
you go, boys. The Katzenklavia.
My confidence level now is I don't know if I can outdo that. I think you've won. Mine's good, but
Mr. Mullet, remember you got to
Okay.
say the Did Yee Kna as well. This was hilarious with Onion. Come on, hit me up.
Yee Kna, Sonic the Hedgehog is inside all of us.
Oh, come on then.
Oh, and this is good because I work in brain injury. A gene and protein that separates your right brain from the left and determines you have two eyes is called Sonic Hedgehog. Gene symbol is SHH. The name wasn't inspired directly by the game, but a comic book series. A British postdoc named Robert Riddle drew inspiration from a Sonic comic his 6-year-old daughter was reading. The gene appropriately has a spiky appearance.
Well, there you
I
go.
did not know that.
I did not know that either. So
Neither did I, but I was just like, that is...
we're
is
all
cool.
in contention, and you cannot vote for yourself. Trojan, where's your vote gone?
I am going to vote for Mr. Mullet.
Okay. Mr. Mullet, who are you going to vote for?
I can't go past the cat Vienno, Trojan. You get my vote. That is too good.
Yeah, my
I'm
vote's
surprised he wasn't Australian.
my vote's going there as well, to be honest. Like,
100%.
I don't think we can. I don't think we can argue. I think on any other week, ours might have won the week, but I think going up against
we're in.
that any other week, I think we have a potential winner. But what's it called?
The cats and clavia.
The cats and clavia.
Seriously, right? Google the cats and clavia.
And he's over here contemplating should he be a content creator. Imagine the stuff he'd open stream with.
Cats.
Like honestly,
clavia.
like so it's KATZ
KATZEN
KLAVIER. Just look at the images, man. It's like absolute nightmare fuel.
KATZENK.
Yeah, and then LAV for Victor. IER.
Klatsavia. What the fuck? Right, I've got it here, mate. I've got it here. I'll bring it up. I've got it on the desktop here.
Oh yeah, you got it. That is.
What on earth is this? What are we watching? What it?
Be careful what. Just be careful what other things Google could pop up in similar images here, right?
Like what the hell? Katzinclavia.
That's not bad considering that I was on the PC until 4 o'clock this morning, and I went to sleep for 4 hours, and you rang us at 7:45, and in 15 minutes I went, made a cup of tea, put my contact lenses in, and then got that.
I want to hear what one sounds like now. Like, is it Shan or is it all right? Let's have a little deeks. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear
Hi
it.
there, Ben from Skoog here.
You
to
won't.
celebrate Skoog getting reviewed in individual wave on...
Oh, yeah.
That's a bit better, I can hear that nicely. So there I...
Just play.
Oh,
That's Shan. That is.
I don't know if
actually
we
Shan.
need to hear. We can just sense how funny it must sound.
just leave it to the imagination.
Just meow 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 meow. Oh, that's fucking great. Oh, hey.
Oh.
That's gonna be in like if we ever have 100 episodes of the podcast, that's gonna be up there with like the top 10. Might even be a.
You have just
top
put
one.
Trojan. You have just put yourself like your mark on this podcast
Yeah,
for
man.
years to come. Like this will be spoken about, years down the track. They'll come back to this episode. I am proud that I got to be a part of this episode when this amazing Yee Kna was. This is just crazy.
It's just absolutely.
I'm telling
meant.
that.
There was no weak entries this week either. Like there was not like one person where I was like, that was a bit shit, but well, nice effort though. Like everyone's was like, hey, fucking hell, everyone's could have won on a different week. Like that's just absolutely ludicrous. But
I'm just completely worried if someone
I'm just reading it
comments.
here. Cats and clavia or something.
Yeah.
If someone comments on this podcast and says they knew about that, I have deep concerns.
Oh yeah, you want to see the loft or the basement or something.
That. Yeah, like if you actually know that there was a cat piano, I have deep concerns. I do not want to see your Google search history.
It's not like you can say no cats were harmed in the making of this episode because cats clearly were. can't even.
No,
can't
I'm
even
sure the
hide
cats
behind
loved
that.
it. I'm sure the cats loved it. They had a ball.
Oh.
Well, they did, but the nail went through it. That's how you get the higher notes.
I'm glad they created pianos totally different to that.
Oh,
Imagine going down to the piano shop now. Seven
You know what
cats
is-
would you like?
I'll never look at piano the same way again. Like all I'm gonna see, like when I ever see Button, is just gonna be an absolute a cat abuser. He has a cat as well, so I like I can't look at that the same way. I can't look at it the same way. But guys, that's going to wrap up the show. We've been going on for, in total, nearly 3 hours, which is absolutely bloody ridiculous. But yeah, first of all, just like to thank Trojan for stepping in for Hexy. Obviously, we hope Hexy gets well soon. I don't know how long of a thing this is going to be. But Mr. Mullet, thank you for obviously connecting with us, and obviously that time hour difference. That time hour difference is a bit of a bitch.
You guys are doing great things. Great things, and I look forward to watching the podcast moving forward. As I said, it's a great opportunity for content creators to spend some time with you boys and obviously express how we feel. Just really quickly, I'll just give a quick shout out to the Sender boys. I know they'll be watching it. They're my crew that I play COD with, so I made sure that I definitely let them know this little shout out. So shout out to the Sender crew, and again, thank you so much, guys. I muchly appreciate it, and hopefully I'll catch you boys on the dance floor real soon.
Yeah, definitely, especially in these custom lobbies. I'd definitely hop in with you and give that a bash. But
sounds great,
yeah,
guys.
Any content creators out there who want to reach out like Mr. Mullet did, by all means do so. Get yourselves in touch, and we'll see what will make things happen. But yeah, man, been absolutely amazing. We'll be happy to have you back. So
sounds good, guys.
Yeah, thanks for taking part. But
Thank you.
Until then, I've been Huff. This has been Trojan. This has been Mr. Mullet. See, I'm doing it again. And we will see you in the next episode of the Talk Away A1A podcast. Peace.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.